What's up, everybody? I'm Jeremy. You guys are watching Warfel's Morphs tonight. We've got a good episode for you. We do have a guest this week. So make sure you guys do sit back, relax, and enjoy the show tonight. We've got the awesome co-hosts with us as well, so we're going to bring them out. Say hello to everybody, and then we'll also bring Joel out. So let's go ahead, bring on the Bang Daddy himself. Nathan, what's up, brother?
What up?
We got John from Triforce sporting the awesome, amazing Warfel's Morphs hat. You know what, John? I also think the reason why that's popping more is because you're wearing the gray hat and not the black hat.
That's black, bro.
No, that's the gray.
It's jet black.
Oh, that is the
jet black.
Okay.
Remember, you can't see certain colors, John.
Yeah, it's black and gray, Jeremy. But no, the base color is black. It's the same exact hat you got on. You just got a camera, my man.
It's an Xanthic hat, Jeremy.
No, dude, you've got the good Xanthic hats like that. White cryptic hats. I do like the white cryptic that you
just
got.
Need to get a better camera that does this kind of cool shit.
That'll play Matrix. And then we've got this guy here, and hopefully Nate's ready to cue this up. But
boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you got the sticker on there still.
See that? John's keeping it clean.
Water repellent. I didn't even notice that sticker.
You've been wearing the hat for how long? You didn't notice that had a sticker?
I had the hat on for about 4 minutes now, buddy.
Yeah. 4 minutes of promoting.
I've had the hat on for 4 minutes. My bad. I didn't see the damn sticker on.
See, Chris, this is why I don't hand hats out to people, because they don't even freaking wear them.
Bro, it was in my trailer. I just pulled it out. I went for your motherfucker. I would take this hat off and fucking stop.
You had to go all the way to the trailer and get it out of the trash can.
I was like, no, I'll wear Jeremy's hat tonight, you know? Freaking. I still had it in the trailer from when he gave it to me. It was my one bag.
Damn. And I'm surprised you remember that you even had it, bro. I'm not going to lie.
Remember. See?
Yeah, I didn't get one.
You want to sit here and shit on me and fucking talk shit.
I didn't get one.
On the hat and freaking don't want to give them out.
John, I never would have said that if it was my hat.
I know, man.
Yeah.
But Nate would also know what color hat you were wearing, though, too. And obviously,
Nathan gave me a hat.
That's because
Nathan gave me a hat.
That's because Nate's not colorblind.
This is true. This is very true. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest. We've got Joel from Prismatic Reptiles. What's up, dude?
What's going on, guys?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Let's go through here, say hi to the chat, and then we'll run a sponsor ad, and then we will rock and roll. We got Vance from Blue Zombie Morphs in the night. What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Will.
Oh, God. I'm afraid to see what we'll put. Tara Voodoo Doll Rose, one of the channel members. What's going on, girl? Good to see you. We got Sorrentino in the chat, but you guys get to see his ugly mug here right up live. So the hell with you, Chris. James Perry, what's going on? Janice Exotics. Mako Morph, what's going on?
What's up, Mako?
Philip, another one of the channel members. Good to see you.
See you soon.
Will, when's the next auction to spectate? Well, you make this too easy, my friend. You make this way, way too easy. Just waiting on them auctions, aren't you? You're just waiting.
I think he just likes that picture.
I was going to say, he just wants me to flash that picture up there. Maybe next time, next auction, John will pull out something for Danny here and pull out some of that lace.
I'm almost out of it, man. This shit's been hot lately.
Good.
It's probably all that publicity Danny gave it.
I know. I got 2 laces going out tomorrow.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We got Greg, Scaled Paranoia. What's up, dude? Another channel member and channel sponsor. Got Mel in the house, too. Mel, I saw your comment in the group chat, Mel. Your ass is getting on here at some point, dude. Like, you're coming on.
Got to get on, Mel.
Yep. You got to have the cherry pop, bro.
He has no choice, or the next snake he buys is purple.
Well, I was just gonna say we just don't invite him to any barbecues, but then I got the thing. I said, "Well, wait a minute. If we do that, then we don't get any meat." So
Yeah, dude.
we're gonna hurt herself.
Wait for that Mel's meat, buddy.
Yeah.
kind of fucked on that one.
Here's somebody I don't get to see very often in the chats, but Jeremy number 2. What's up, Jeremy Bald? Hope you're doing good, dude. We also need to get you back on here, man. Anxious to catch up with you for a little bit too. Do want to give you an update though on the Partho girl that I got from you. We didn't get a clutch from her last season. We're gonna see what she does for 25, and if she just doesn't do anything 25, then I think I'm just gonna let her sit in the rack and enjoy life as just being, a pet. Give her one more shot at, but I'm not gonna really push her. I am interested to see if she is cryptic though. We got Dominique. What's going on? Good to see you. Christine said we can do an auction whenever.
There you go. Green light.
She has taken over, man.
What Christine's taking over?
Christine's taking over, yeah. Whatever Christine says is how Triforce is being run right now. So
interesting.
Christine Morphs.
Careful what you wish for, John. Careful what you wish for.
That's just interesting, John. So that means if we want to have Triforce, like a special Triforce episode, that means Christine is now the face.
Yep.
Auctioneer. Yep.
So that means she has no option but to have to show up for the live.
I'm just an employee.
Yeah, John, get up and let her in there, would you?
Yeah, she's not here right now. That's why she's talking on Dom's driving Dom home right now in the snow. She'll be back.
Where in the snow?
What's up?
What'd you say about they're in the snow or something?
Yeah, she just literally left to take Dom and the baby home.
Oh,
it's snowing here.
Dominique's my daughter.
Wait, really?
Yeah. If anybody's wondering what we're talking about, that Christine, my wife, is commenting on my daughter's.
Jeremy hasn't left his basement in a week, apparently.
Dude, this week has just been. It's just been a mess, and this weekend I was lazy. I have never felt so lazy on a weekend like I did this weekend.
That was the exact opposite this weekend.
Wait a minute. Did anybody else just see this comment from Will? Can we actually say that Joel might have caused Will's sickness with the snakes?
Oh,
is that what this means?
Oh, Joel!
Oh, you started the addiction.
So what did this turn into?
We gotta thank Joel. We gotta thank Joel for the.
You know how Joel has probably made us
line and sinker.
Yeah, he's made us all a fortune on Will's behalf.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Joel.
If Will keeps going, we're gonna he's gonna have Triforce at the end of his Will see all that stuff.
That's crazy. I'd love to know what snakes they were. So 2 of the 5, right on.
So what snake did you get, Will? That's funny. So Will's addiction all started because of you, Joel. That's
awesome.
What do they call when everybody gets together and talks about a problem?
An intervention.
Intervention.
There you go.
The intervention right here. We got the beginning of the problem and
the current problem.
Surprise!
Right.
Poor Joel's like, all right, I gotta go now.
I gotta check my Excel sheet and see what they were. Oh, okay.
Bamboo yellow belly and a spark.
Nice. It's all your fault, Joel.
That's great.
Poor
Happy
guy.
to help.
And a banana cinnamon
He's got
spit.
some memes this day because of you.
Cool.
I see. What, all because of you, Joel. Will has this huge reputation for not being able to pass up a good deal. If there's an auction and if the price is too low, Will cannot help himself but buy the animal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't even know what the animal is.
Yeah, the one auction will put a bid in, nobody outbid him, and we're like, all right, well, you won. And he goes, well, what did I win? He had no idea what he put the bid in on. Just knew the price was low.
That's awesome. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a good price.
That was a show spotlight right there. That was one of the funniest things that ever happened on this show.
Oh, dude, it's definitely in the top five. It's definitely in the top 5.
I was uncontrollably laughing for at least 5 minutes. I had to go off camera.
Doesn't Will win half the hours? Will kind of does. Yeah, you're right, Mako. You are correct on that.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead, run the first channel sponsor, and then we will get this show rolling, guys.
Yep.
Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC is one of the premier shows of the Northeast. Located at the All-Star Event Complex in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, it's a 45,000 square foot venue that houses 270 plus tables, 125 plus breeders, with an amazing selection of snakes, lizards, geckos, turtles, amphibians, and invertebrates. Doesn't matter if you're a breeder looking for that next high-end piece to your project or a pet owner looking for your next scaly friend. Top it off, the SC Serpent's there to meet all of your racking and incubator needs. The show dates for 2025 are March 29th, July 19th, and November 8th. So make sure you stop out, and I will see you at Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC. Greg said, Danny losing the gecko that never existed was pretty good. That was also another good moment there. Many good auction moments have kind of come from Danny. Actually, 3/4 of them, I think, have come from Danny. Those auctions will be forever missed.
Is Chris coming on tonight?
I tried. Chris is apparently being a goody two-shoes, and he's doing charity work. So I guess we can't really talk too much trash on him. But he's doing
charity work at 8:15 on a Sunday night.
Dude, don't ask me.
Okay, then. I've got to ask what this charity work is.
Maybe it's charity to the wife. Who knows? I mean, he is crazy enough to want another kid, which I think he needs to have his head examined.
Speaking of that, how you making out?
What are you talking about, Chris? I am not having another child. All right, there are no more babies coming from this side. No,
I was on video proof that he's talking this shit about no more babies, so everybody heard it tonight. So,
no more. The only babies coming out of this place are snake babies. Which, speaking of which, since everybody knew that I was kind of like half shitting a brick about carpet babies, I do think we are confirmed with 2 clutches of carpets coming. So
nice.
There should be plenty of babies to spread the carpet cheer with.
So that mean the carpet baby whining is over?
That never ends.
Like, all right, carpets ovulate at 20, right around 25 mil. Okay, The one female was at 29 point something, and then the other female was 27 point something. So by all technicalities, the deed should have been done, and we're getting something. Whether it's eggs or slugs will be, determined.
I want to say we had the same conversation last year around the same time. Good job, Bill.
Was that when he was breeding the 2 males together?
No, that was the first year that happened, Nate. The second year we
had to bring it up.
I came on shortly after that, but yes, last year it was the same thing. Oh, I don't know if they're gonna go. I was like, bro, it's freaking only January. It's only December. Oh no! Now all of a sudden, we are February. Freaking here we go again. So this happens again next year. February, March is usually when your carpets are gonna freaking tell you something.
Hey, I've got to have my whining point, okay? I don't bitch and moan a whole hell of a lot throughout the year. I kind of stay quiet.
Okay.
Bullshit. All you do is bitch and moan and cry.
Wow.
Joel, I'm sorry I brought you into this whole shit show here.
Oh, that's okay. I've bred 2 male carpets together too, so Don't worry
What's the
about it.
RX? Not the
Ah,
RX.
join the club.
And I have pictures of them locked.
See, all right, here's the messed up thing. I never saw them locked, but they would be laying right next to each other, like, giving you that idea that something should be going on. The one that was supposed to be a female is like all but 7 foot and the size of what a good adult female carpet should be.
Mm-hmm.
The other male is the size of what you would expect a normal jungle male to be at about 5 foot roughly. It made sense.
Yep.
It just nothing never happened. And I started spazzing out. It's like, what the fuck? And went through. Like, all right, fine. We're just gonna pop these suckers because somebody's wrong with something. And then I got sperm plugs on both of them. Just like, son of a bitch.
And it became Xander, and all, and the rest is history.
Yep.
That's why I've never red carpets. Because I got a pair originally, and then I got a third, an Irian Jaya or Papuan, that was supposed to be a female. And then it ended up that they were all 3 male after 10 years of trying to figure out what was going on.
Oh, man.
I got the jungles from this guy named Mark in Boise, and so I just assumed that they came from Ryan Young because he also lives in Idaho.
Okay.
So I was like sure that it was a pair because I'm like, Ryan Young would never make that mistake. But I never confirmed with Ryan that they came from him. They must not have come from him because it was two boys.
Yeah.
I had the same nightmare happen with Angolans. Bought at 1.3, I thought, and then being a 3.1.
Dang.
I was sitting there breeding males together and all kinds of shit in the beginning. I'm like, well, and then the male or whatever, the female never even got really big enough to do shit. So I was like, all right. Got anywhere after a couple years of messing with it.
Terrible. At least you got one girl.
Yeah, I had a girl, but she was the smallest out of all of them, even though they're all the same age. So I thought she was the male. It was backwards. Everything was just. And then learned how to sex snakes, of course. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see what happened here.
Kike, you're a funny, funny man, my friend. In Chris's defense, though, Kike, you could probably just blame me because Chris probably never double checked what I had told him anyway. So, but the carpets, we're pretty easy.
You lost your mic, Jeremy.
Yep.
Really?
There you go.
You were in and out.
No, I was gonna say I didn't touch nothing. I didn't get my elbow up there. But anyway, Kike, if something is wrong, you just let me know, bro. You just let me know. But Kike's got 2 of the carpets that we've produced here. But Celeste and Lagatha should hopefully give us 2 big clutches. Lagatha looks like she's just jam-packed. So there should be a lot of eggs in that clutch.
What kind of morphs are you hoping for?
Well, that pairing is just it's just plain straight jungles, nothing fancy. Cool. But the one, well, actually, I don't even know what to expect out of this pair because my normal male that sired everything up until this point throws a lot of high tipping animals with some very erratic patterns.
Yeah,
but
they almost look diamond jungle.
Okay.
Dude, he is not. There's no fucking diamond in there. I'm telling you guys. There's no diamond in
the babies look like diamond jungles.
Well, they may look at you, but there's no diamond in him. Like, the parents of that male had no diamond. It was a zebra to a jungle. Like, he's just high tipped. Like, that's all there is to it. He just throws some crazy ass babies. But he's over at Nathan's place. Hopefully he did the deed. We'll find that out tentatively tomorrow. Are we going to ultrasound your girl tomorrow, Nate?
Sure.
Oh, man. I'm excited to find out because Nate's girl's a caramel jag. So we can hit some diamond jungle jag, or not diamond jag. We can hit some jungle jags. Chris got me freaking thinking diamond now. Get some jungle jags and caramel jungle jags and some really cool stuff. So it'll be a neat pairing if she takes.
Is caramel incomplete?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I guess caramel's.
Or codon.
I don't know if there's this. I think caramels would be like considered a dominant. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think there's a super caramel. Not that I don't. how do I put it? I kind of try to stick I don't want to say to the purest route, but at the same time, I don't go mixing a whole lot of locality stuff. The Jags probably about the most that I worry about mixing locality and morphs and stuff at this point. But all right, Joel, I'm gonna put you up on the big screen, bro.
Alrighty.
Put you on the spot.
Put you on the spot, and go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll start diving in a little bit deeper into everything.
Okay. So I am a full-time reptile breeder from Pocatello, Idaho. I've been doing this since about 2011. I started out with horned lizards and collared lizards and what else? Panther chameleons. Ooh. I think that was pretty much it. And that was really fun, but there is absolutely no money in lizards, if you ask me. Between the UV you've got to replace every 6 months, the supplements, feeding them, twice a day. Honestly, those diurnal lizards should be worth a couple grand a piece. I don't know how people sell them as cheap as they do, because the effort that's involved in producing them is just way more than snakes. So I was producing some different species of horned lizards. I did okay with the panther chameleons, but being in such a dry, I'm in the high desert here, so I'm in a really dry environment. And so keeping those eggs at the right humidity for like 9 months to a year was very difficult. So I'd get like 70 eggs and maybe like 12 would hatch after all that time, because they'd be too wet, they'd be too dry. It was, and they wouldn't go bad until like month 7. So it was so frustrating. So yeah, I started going to shows. I got my first snake since I was a kid. I was into snakes as a kid, but fortunately, I had a janitor who was a reptile breeder, and he was like way into, I think he was friends with Dan Sutherland from TSK, because he had a bunch of that same stuff way back in, this would have been 97. So it was funny. Like I would go to school in 4th grade and he would like bring me in the little janitor's closet and be like, hey, check out these cow kings I just hatched, or check out these milk snakes. And it was nuts, all these corns and stuff. But he sold me, I think it was a trio of Pueblans, and he told me that they were feeding and they weren't. And my parents had to give me a loan and I had to work off the money forever. I mean, they were like, I can't even remember, $175 a piece or something like that. So, it was
wow.
$500, $600 or something like that. And we force fed them. We did everything we could. Unfortunately, they ended up dying. And so I always think, man, if I would have kept it going, if those snakes would have survived, man, I'd be way ahead of where I'm at now, because I didn't get back in until 2011 or whatever. So that was the first snake I got after I was keeping lizards. It was a Pueblan, because I just had to kind of make that right after the whole thing when I was a kid. And I was telling myself, I'm just going to get the one snake, keep doing the lizards. And by the end of that year, I had bought like a bunch of adult corn snakes, cow kings. I think I produced like 13 species my first year of snakes. Yeah. So I went head in and just went crazy with snakes. The Mexicana and Montane king snakes have always been my specialty, though. So the Mexicana king snakes are from Mexico, and gray banded king snakes are part of that. So you're talking about gray banded kings, Nuevo Leon kings, Querétaro mountain kings, which are Ruthveni. There's now the Web-Eye, which is, I think there's been 2 live specimens ever found. So there's a new species, the Durango mountain king snake, and then Mex-Mex. And then the Montane kings are like Arizona mountain kings. I mean, these are, some of them are both, they're Mexicana and they're also Montane. California mountain kings and Baja California mountain kings. Those are Lamprepeltis zonata galma. I'm out of those. I don't keep California mountain kings anymore because they suffer from zonata disease.
What's that? Because I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it seems to be like some sort of neurological issue. Okay. They've done brain scans on the sick ones, and they can see like lesions and stuff in their brain matter. Wow. So, I mean, it's obvious that they're suffering from something, but it's unclear as to whether it's environmental. What the deal is. So,
is it viral?
What age does it start?
What's that?
Do you see it from baby, or do they develop it later?
Sometimes, but it's kind of rare. I honestly think it's a combination of viral and environmental factors. I think it's bad husbandry, or not necessarily bad husbandry, but I found them in the wild, and like I think it's a lot cooler and a lot more moist than people imagine it to be. So people are keeping them at the same temp as like a Cal King, and like high 80s, low 90s, and it never gets that high unless they're on top of a rock or something, at 8,000 feet. So I think they're kept too hot a lot of times, and I do think that there must be some sort of viral aspect to it. But it's characterized by it's almost like a spider ball python, like a really bad one. They'll lay on their back sometimes. Their head will just kind of twist around, and they'll just corkscrew. And then the thing that I've seen in other people is that mine never had this, but they would be stuck in shed all the time. Like they would shed, and then they'd have another shed like a week later. And if you didn't get that one off, then they would have like 2 stuck sheds. And it's just, it's rough. So then you're dealing with 2 stuck sheds. And then when you get those off, it's all like tacky, and not the skin underneath isn't any good. And so I had 2 left that had very mild zoonotic disease. And I did a YouTube video about it, and I gifted the 2 zoonotic to somebody, or to 2 different people. And then I took the YouTube video down because I had several people being like, I don't know if I want to buy a king snake from you because of the zoonotic disease thing. And I'm like, well, if you watch the video, it's specifically about California mountain king snakes. And I also said in the video, I don't keep California mountain king snakes anymore. So the issue is kind of
done.
So I marked it private. I was like, dude, if you guys can't deal with the information, I'm just trying to be helpful and, put out a little info on it. I have a herpetologist here at Idaho State University, and I tried really hard to get him to take these animals and to get them into somebody's study. I was like, this is something that really needs to be looked at, So I talked to him. I think I asked Bob Hansen. He owns Sierra Herps. He's like the main guy as far as mountain kings and that stuff goes. But I couldn't find anybody who was interested in looking at it. So
that's so weird, because you would think something like because once you said about the neuro thing, my brain automatically switched to, all right, it's probably something like an inner ear issue, like the spider and like the jags for the carpets are. But then once you said about the brain lesions, it's like, well, that completely debunks that right off the rip. It actually is something else.
Yeah, it's so weird. And you would think that it would spread and like it would take out whole collections, but I haven't heard of that. I've heard most people who keep them have seen it here and there, and then they just, either cull the animal or, do what you got to do, move it somewhere, and they're fine. But everybody who's kept them in large numbers that I've talked to has seen it firsthand.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's a total mystery. But the Arizona mountain kings, on the other hand, don't suffer from it. They're only separated by a couple 100 miles. And that's probably the number 1 species of snake that I'm in. We have, I want to say, 5 recessive mutations. And so we're kind of in the same boat with ball pythons right now. We're trying to make the triple recessives.
Yeah.
Like I made some quad hets. And we've got a couple, it's kind of like the caramel carpet type of thing where it's like, I'm not sure if it's polygenic or if it's dominant or, but it's something heritable. There's a zebra gene that's really cool. So that's kind of the main king snake thing that I'm working on right now, is all the different combinations of the Arizona mountain kings. So those are a ton of fun.
Okay. Now, all right, so you're doing the colubrids and stuff. What else? What other species do you have?
I do. So like I said, the mountain kings are kind of the main thing. I do all sorts of colubrids outside of that. I do Trans-Pecos rat snakes. Those are one of my favorites. They're one of the most docile snakes.
So they just sound just the name sounds.
Yeah, are those the blue ones?
The axanthic ones are pretty bluish. Yeah.
Joel, we got to talk after this because I did not know you bred them.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I have some hypo Baird's rats that I'm in love with. I'm hoping they're going to go this year. I do Asian rats like mandarins. Have most of the bamboo rat snakes. I was doing Mollendorfs, but they're kind of tricky, so I got out of those. I was producing babies every year, but the babies were rough, man. They were hard to get feeding, and then once they would get feeding, then they would have impaction issues and stuff. So I kind of got fed up with that. So I moved my pair. And I think the other big thing colubrid wise that I do is Barons racers. So Chris and I were talking about the Barons.
That's Chris's new obsession. There is the bear.
I love them.
I don't blame him. Yeah, they're super sick. And then of course, I do ball pythons. I have a reticulated python. I have one. It's a 50% Kalatoa. What is it? Golden Child. It's a black motley golden child.
Okay.
I have the one carpet left, which I'm going to find a female for him because I feel bad that he had to do all that gay stuff for years.
I just got rid of a beautiful female.
Yeah, I'm going to just get a big known female jungle, and I just owe it to him. And then, yeah, I'm in the ball python game too because it's too much fun, man.
Yeah.
How can you not?
Pet rock.
Yeah. What was, because obviously the colubrids are that near and dear species to your heart. What about the balls gets you excited instead of that makes you shy away slightly from the colubrids to bring them in?
Well, I don't know if I would say it's a give and take with each one. You know what I mean? Like today I was taking pictures of the colubrids and like to post them on Morph Market, and every once in a while you approach them the wrong way and they spray all of their poop and musk at you and you're just dripping. Like, dude, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
like I went in there.
Had happened an hour ago.
Yeah. It's like, come on. But then again, ball pythons are frustrating in a lot of ways where you're like, okay, it's the right time of year. This male should be eating. Like, he hasn't been with a female. You're giving him live. You're doing everything. So there's give and take. Like the colubrids that I work with, a lot of them are lizard eaters in the wild, and so it takes me a long time to transition them from eating like a lizard to a scented pinky to hopefully a live pinky, then unscented. So it's a love and hate thing with both species and in a lot of regards, but man, with ball pythons, there's just so much potential as far as the genetics go. And it's a little bit different where you've got 5 genes, like in the Arizona Mountain Kings versus, 30 recessives or something, or 40 in ball pythons. And you can actually kind of picture something in your mind and go, this is how I want to get to that end goal, versus in the pyros, the Arizona Mountain Kings. It's like, well, I'm going to make the quad and it's just going to look how it's going to look. It's not like something I'm envisioning. It's just, I'm going to make it and see what happens type of thing.
Yeah.
I know, like with the balls, it seems like you can play mad scientist a little bit more with them, which is cool. But I think it's just neat when Chris said about having you come on, I was excited, one, because you do all the colubrid stuff, because I am completely and utterly know nothing about colubrid stuff at all. But it's the fact I enjoy learning about that type of stuff. Yep. So it's just kind of like, I'm ready to learn. And if we need to do, like I said before, if we need to do like a round 2, we're going to do a round 2. Because I'm not going to lie, we could sit here and we can talk ball pythons, but I think I'm probably going to speak with everybody on with the co-host here that I'm kind of interested to hear more about the colubrid stuff too.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think the feeding thing is really one of the biggest issues. Like a lot of people won't even go near a gray-banded king snake because they've heard that they're like notoriously picky feeders and they're just not worth working with, or it depends on the locality, or it depends on the bloodline. And that's all true to a certain extent. I don't think anybody really knows like what causes certain. I've seen, a male and a female produce a clutch that all eat frozen thawed, no problem 1 year. I do the same pairing next year, none of them will eat, And so, I mean, maybe if I had less snakes and I did more like charting and documentation, maybe I could figure out more of a pattern. I can tell you so when I say good feeders, I mean more likely to eat unscented mice than to hold out for lizards. So I'm not saying like if you have a ton of baby lizards, good for you. You can breed these things all day and the bloodlines don't matter. but good feeders will make good feeders. And so that's a little bit of what we're doing as far as mad scientist goes, is taking like bloodlines really feed well and then breeding them to other ones that feed well. The Nuevo Leon not Mountain Kings, the Nuevo Leon Kings, which are variable kings, or Leonis, they used to call them Theri, they got a bunch of names. But those can be just as hard as a gray banded king snake, but generally people don't have that much trouble because of the bloodlines that they just end up getting. And I've been working really hard to eliminate the ones that don't eat that well for me, because I've got quite a few options with bloodlines. So now, like this year was the first year I sold off a lot of my adults that had babies that were kind of hit and miss. And this year was a dream. Like I think I made 125 of the Leonis, and I think all of them are eating. Like I don't think I've had to scent. Oh, actually, that's not true. Some of the melanistic ones I've had to scent. But other than that, and that's part of the thing, like with the melanistic ones, that's the only recessive mutation, and they are pure black. So they're really cool, and they're way, way more docile than a Mexican black king snake, which they're prone to turning their head and just chewing on you for no reason. And I mean, I used to work with MBKs, but man, when I would get ready for a show, I would take my cart purposely while it was dirty, do the Mexican Black Kings, put them in their cups, because they would fling their tails, they would shoot musk all over the place, they would, bite, writhe around, and I had to only use black deli cup inserts, because if you use white, they'll wipe their cloaca all over, and it makes a blood trail, like on purpose. It's the craziest thing. They have this little defense mechanism where they bleed out of their butthole. And then you show up to a show and there's a blood trail and people are like, oh my God, that black snake is dying. And so, yeah, it's just the whole thing. So I would get them all cupped up for a show and then spray off my cart and do the rest of the species. So I was like, I'm done with these things. They're so annoying. Like
they are annoying.
Especially because I have an alternative, I have the Mexican or the Nuevo Leon version. They're a lot smaller too, which is kind of nice. They're more iridescent. They're definitely more beautiful than an MBK.
Oh wow!
And
And
yeah, and the hets are cool too, because they're like this kind of intermediate thing. They've got like heavy black banding. A lot of times they're really deep red. And so if you know that it's from like a melanistic pairing, or that melanistic is kind of in the background somewhere, you can tell the hets. If you're just looking at 100 Leonis, it'd be hard to say, oh, those are het melanistic necessarily. You could guess, but that's kind of cool. So it's almost like an incomplete, you're making het melanistic, and then you can add in the other colors. And so the other cool thing about the Leonis, so I'm using Nuevo Leon King Snake and Leonis interchangeably, but that's the same thing as a variable king, which is what a lot of people know them as. They have all sorts of color phases in between. They have white, like there's a white line that's bone white with like black square bands. You can have them like pin banded. You can have keyhole shape bands. And then you've got red ones that are milk snake phase. So they're red, yellow, and black, just pure rings banded like that. They look like a milk snake, obviously. Nice. You got, like I said, the black ones. I have a green line and a blue line. The blues are phenomenal. They're like a gunmetal gray, but if you see them in person,
we'll have to see that. Yeah,
I was that. Cool. Now
really
with
sick.
the
and then there's orange. There's bright
the variable king snakes. Is there a way to hone in on what you're going to get out of a clutch, or is it completely, or is it just like the name says, it's variable? Like you'll get a little bit of everything out of them.
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends on the bloodline. Like the green and blue keyhole stuff that I have is all kind of in that same. I might get yellow sometimes, but I'll never get orange. I'll never get milk snake phase. I'll never get melanistic. They're all, and the patterning is generally kind of similar in those. And they're really, it sounds bad, but they're pretty inbred. But in these king snakes, it doesn't matter, because so going to like a wild example that I can think of, Lamprepeltis, so the family of king snakes, which includes milks and includes all of these king snakes I'm talking about, they don't leave their little general area for anything. Like they'll cross a road or something looking for a mate, or they'll, move a few rocks away looking for a meal or something like that. But they have a very specific home range. And so the first milk snake I ever found in Utah, I found it in 2016. And not only did I find it 5 years later under the same rock, but this freaking Fern Gully situation happened where they took this huge machine with these big cracks, like a big tank thing, chopped down all the junipers, all the sagebrush, just left it decimated. And I didn't even touch it for years because I thought all the snakes were dead. I watched them do it, and they were just crushing rocks and just squeezing them together. And I was like, man, they're killing so many milk snakes. It was terrible to watch. But sure enough, 5 years later, I flipped the same rock, and the same exact snake was there in a totally different habitat, but she just didn't leave. And so I think
crazy.
Yeah, so I think these snakes just don't really move much, and I think inbreeding is the rule as far as where they're at, because they're montane kings. So like in Arizona, you've got the Sky Islands, right? Like the Huachuca Mountains, the Cochise Mountains, or not Cochise County, I think Chiricahua Mountains, or like Mount Lemmon comes out of the desert floor to this huge mountain peak near Tucson. So those anything that's up there is stranded up there forever. They can't come down and go across the hot, desert with the saguaro cacti. And so their options as far as
so they're kind of just stranded there.
Mates are very limited, and so I don't think it hurts them. Always good when you can. Did everybody just glitch out, or is that just me?
No, I'm getting a little bit of interference on you. Yeah. Now you're back.
There you go.
Okay.
Now you're back.
Okay. So anyway, there's a little bit of control as far as what kind of phenotypes you're going to get. Like if you breed a milk snake phase to a milk snake phase, they'll all be milk snake phase babies. If you breed a milk snake phase to like an orange Leonis phase, then you'll kind of get half and half. And the banding will be kind of half and half too. So you'll get some that are like legit milk snake phase, 3 rings, and then some that are kind of like big blocky saddles that kind of almost look like a band, but then they go away by the time they get to the venter. And then there are other clutches where like it's fun to just switch males, because what a female will throw season to season based on the male you put is vastly different. So that's always really fun to do, is just switch up the male, and sometimes you'll have take a clutch shot, and you would never know it was from the same female year to year.
Wow.
And that makes it a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, that's my favorite. Like, I love the Pyros, the Arizona Mountain Kings. They're like, that's the thing I'm probably most invested in. But, the thing that really makes you want to just sit there and watch every single snake hatch is the Leonis, because you never know what you're going to get.
Now with the milk snakes, what locale? Like Hondurans or?
Oh, yeah. So let's see. What milks do I work with? I think I only work. Oh, no, I work with black milks now. Well, I don't know why I say now. I've been working with them for like 10 years, but I work with black milks. Trying to think what else. I think the only other milks I have now are North American milks. So I have pale milks from Nebraska, two different localities in Nebraska. I went to Montana and I collected some milks back in 2017. So I have Stillwater, Montana County milks.
Okay.
And then I have, so from that same area I was telling you about with the Utah milks, I collected a male and 2 females. And so I'm breeding those. And so this year I finally got a couple that survived. I got good eggs, and the babies actually lived. So that's pretty awesome. Because they're like this big when they hatch. They're tiny. I mean, getting them
incubate them longer.
Yeah. The eggs are like that big. They're
wow.
I mean, they're ridiculous. But I mean, when they're first laid, by the time they hatch, they're like that. They grow a little bit. Oh, and then I keep red milks. I keep red milks out of Missouri, and I have a hypo in that, and those are some of the coolest looking milks, honestly. The hypo red milks are freaking amazing.
Do you have them on your Instagram? You have pictures on your?
I'm sure I do. I can show you one.
Yeah, go get one.
Yeah.
Dude. Go
Yeah, I'll
get one.
pop one out.
Yeah, while you go get one, I'm going to play another sponsor ad here real quick.
Make sure you check out Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. He is your guy to go to if you want to get into the Bang project. On top of it, he's working a bunch of awesome ball python projects. Kahua geckos, Leachianus geckos, crested geckos, some scaleless corn snakes, and he is your one-stop shop for all your branding needs. So check him out. Check out Chris Shelley over at S Reptilia if you need a high-end ball python, blood python, locality boa, or colubrid. He's also Pennsylvania's distributor of Coco to Go and the Chipper, and he can also hook you up with some rats. So make sure you guys check out Chris over at S Reptilia.
Man, we're getting educated tonight.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm going to run Charlie's ad real quick yet.
Stop wasting time trying to prove out animals or taking chances on possible heads or genes you don't know that are there. Head on over to Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles and ShedTesting.com for all of your shed testing needs. He's fast, accurate, and adding new tests on a regular basis. So head on over to ShedTesting.com and check him out. Make sure to use the code CARPET15 for 15% off of your shed test order. Use nothing but the best at ShedTesting.com.
Use that code, folks. Use that code, CARPET15. All right.
That's pretty.
Cool.
It's
Yeah,
just neat to see something like it's just something different.
I got a paper towel here. 'Cause I'm getting lost.
You're gonna.
So I'll show you a
smell
normal
yummy.
one. This is a. So you can see the difference between the like cherry red and the really kind of washed out orangey red of the hypo. The hypo is the larger one.
Dude, that's right. They're
Yeah,
so
they're cool,
pretty.
man.
Oh, they're cool.
It's annoying to
Look at
get musk on, I'll tell you that, but it's worth it. It's worth
Is that just basically a
it.
colubrid?
There's a couple other more.
Yep. It's definitely basically a colubrid thing.
What?
With them getting musked all the time. Is that just
Yeah.
like basically a colubrid thing essentially?
Reticks a colubrid. But
No, not necessarily. That people do think that, but I like with a milk snake, I know I'm gonna get musked on. Mostly whatever species it is. The Mexican and Montane Kings really don't musk, unless you startle them. And that's one of the big things I'm always trying to dispel is myths about king snakes. I see people come to my tables all the time and they're like, we've been watching Snake Discovery or whatever, YouTube stuff, and we want a colubrid, but not a king snake. And I'm like, why not a king snake? And they're like, well, because of cow kings and MBKs. And I'm like, well, I get that, but those are the common king snakes. So you don't want a Jatula or Getula or whatever, however you want to say it. Those are the common king snakes, like Eastern chain kings, all that stuff. They all act the same, and you really can't trust them to not just turn their head and start nibbling on you. But there are all these other king snakes, like the Mexican and Montane Kings, that won't ever do that. I mean, if you pull them out and they're in your hand, you know they're not going to just turn their head and bite you no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, you can get nipped if they're thinking there's food coming in, but other than that, they're smart enough to know that you're not food and they'll never mistake you for it. And if you're
Wow.
chill and if you're
I
methodical, what's that?
I love that about my Arizona mountains, that they're so docile.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, they don't musk. They don't do anything. They're
They're my
super,
better.
super.
They're the favorite king snakes I've ever owned too, are the mountains.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if you piss them off,
Yeah.
you know, you can get them to do stuff that they wouldn't normally do. But if you're slow and gentle and methodical, yeah, they're
All the
super
other
laid back.
common king snakes, they're the ones I've had. So yeah, I'm used to getting bit and the musking and all that stuff. I never had a lot of the stuff you're talking about now. They're in the mountains.
Mhm.
Very cool stuff. Gray bandits I couldn't get them to eat. A buddy took them and he got them going because he had lizards and stuff.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that was a thing about the gray bandits. I really didn't know that was a thing about any colubrid. I thought all colubrids just fucking are just they eat.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
I thought they were just little eating machines. Like I never
Yeah.
thought picture them
Yeah.
being picky eaters.
There are a lot of
Yeah,
colubrids,
you'd think that.
Yeah, a lot of
But
different
so
colubrids.
you see this little snake here. This thing's had about 40 meals, something like that. So I mean, when it was born, it was a third this size. Think about what's going to happen to that little guy if he goes into the mouse nest with the mama mouse, the daddy mouse, and the pinkies, he's dead meat. They'll just chew his whole head off.
Oh yeah.
So they're scared of rodents. Like when they smell rodents, they're scared, and because it's ingrained in them evolutionarily that rodents will kill me until I'm a certain size, and so that's all there is for them to eat in the wild. That's an appropriate size would be an insect, which we don't think that they eat, or a lizard.
Makes total sense.
Yeah,
So,
It does make sense. I never thought about the whole mouse being on the other end of the food chain on that one.
yeah.
Colubrids are definitely not created equal, man. There's a lot of colubrids and a lot of different ways they are.
exactly. Well, this also reminds me of like chondros, because people talk about how chondros can be kind of tricky, but if you give them like a tree frog, they'll take it. Give them a gecko, they'll take it, because that's kind of more what they're eating at that smaller size. And they've been finding that they eat a lot more insects as well. So yeah, they've seen them eating moths and like cicadas or whatever type of cicada. It's not the same as ours, but locusts or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's why you brought up about the green trees, because we were talking about that in our group chat and how that's the one thing I want to add this year is a pair of green trees. Hopefully, we'll see. But
hell yeah, I kept a couple green trees. I know a girl locally who breeds colubrids, and Petco had like, I don't know, 7 chondros for some reason.
Really?
And they all went on like the half off sale. Nobody bought them. And I think they finally just gifted her all of them. And she couldn't get any of them eating. And so she was like, can you just take them and see if you can get them feeding? So I had them for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. And I got them going and stuff and gave them back to her. But they were really cool, man. I'd love to get into chondros again.
With all your different species, do you have them in different areas because of temperatures and stuff?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah, this is the ball python side that I'm on.
Okay.
The colubrid side is over there, and it's really just the ambience the same. Like 73. The ball pythons just have a lot warmer heat tape, and then behind me down the hallway, there's a whole bedroom that's all cooled down for brumation. So it's like 50 degrees at the warmest right now down there, and so. That's what I was telling Chris is I can show some snakes, but I'm kind of limited right now because so many of them are down there brumating. And some of them, man, I feel bad messing with them when they're in brumation. They're not themselves,
That's why
Their tongue flick is labored. Like it's almost like they're drunk and you're waking them up. Like you just feel bad messing with them.
Now, do you ever have snakes active during brumation?
Yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, I'm trying to think. The species that are the most active.
Milk snakes.
yeah, the black milks are always just cruising around.
Yeah, one of mine was very active, and I'm like, damn, maybe it's because I got him like next to the rats, and he's like, he's starting to brumate, but he's like, I'm fucking hungry too.
Here's a silly question. Like I've never really cooled my colubrids down to breed them, and I do get eggs and stuff. What is the benefits of the brumation? Like I said, I'm doing like scaleless corn snakes and Mexican black king snakes. I do get eggs and everything from them from not cooling them. I put them all at the bottom of my rack because I'm a ball python breeder. So if they're all down low where the heat tape's the least and everything.
Yeah.
What would be your benefits of basically like brumation versus not brumation?
Some species and some localities of species, you're going to be lucky if you get good eggs. Like you'll get eggs, but not necessarily fertile ones. Mm-hmm. And I know like you brought up scaleless corns, and those have a lot of I'm trying to think of this scientific name. They have Great Plains rat snake influence because that's where the scaleless gene came from. They're a hybrid technically. And so they are from a cooler environment. So I know like specifically scaleless corns can benefit from brumation a little bit more than like just a classic red rat that you get from Miami or whatever, because they're obviously never going to experience that where they're from. But follicular development and spermatogenesis, so the production of sperm and the follicle development really is kind of brought on by those colder temperatures in a lot of different species of colubrids. And the other thing that, I'm the other thing I guess that's really advantageous is it really shrinks your ovulation season. Like if you don't cool them, then there's a chance you're going to have to just be kind of pairing until like July. And then sometimes like I've had my Trans-Pecos do that where they go so late and I'm like hatching in like October, and then it's hard to get weight back on them before they need to go down again, or before they need to go down the first time, you know, because say I didn't cool them the first year. Now I need to cool them, but they're going to be too skinny to go down. So that's another thing is you shrink that down. And so once they lay eggs, you kind of have the rest of the summer to get all that weight back on them and get them into breeding condition, because that happens a lot where a snake will double clutch that you didn't mean to. And you're like, why'd you do that? Now you look like hell warmed over. And it's, you know, you're going to miss this year because, you know, I didn't want you to lay a second clutch. So, and the other thing, like I say, the motile sperm is the other big thing. If you look at, if you take like a slide from the sperm from the female, you know, a lot of times you'll see it just on the back end of the snake. If you take a slide, I know people have done tests and looked at the motility of the sperm of males that have been brumated and males that haven't. And the males that have been brumated do have much higher motility in their sperm. So even if the female's doing her job, she's ovulating, she's going to lay what could be good eggs. If you're throwing bad sperm at it, it's not going to help you.
Well, here's the question. I didn't breed them yet this year. It would be beneficial for me to just let them go this year and then start brumating them next year. Because it's not like
what species
desire to make them or anything. I have them because I just like them.
Yeah. Are you talking about the MBKs and the corns?
And the BKs or the corns. Like I said, I'm not like a big like Kluber breeder. I have them just because I love them. Like I just think they're cool. But I have them. I have a couple sets of them, whatever, to breed them. I just haven't cooled them down because I haven't really had an area to cool them down. Maybe put them in the basement or something. But like, would it be more beneficial for me to this year, like just let them ride, keep feeding them, blah blah blah, and then put them down next year?
Yeah, I think that would be a smart thing to do, unless you see the females blowing up and you're like, well, I might as well try so that they don't just lay bad eggs. And I mean, sometimes they can even lay good eggs from sperm retention too, just like a ball python can.
Yeah, none of them have been bred yet this year.
Oh, okay. Well, and even they can, they can retain it from like 2-3 years back. It's insane.
They were babies up now. They're just basically stuff I grew up.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The one girl I bred last year, she gave me eggs. She didn't double clutch or anything. It was like 8 eggs. Nice. I debated them fucked up. Like I messed up, so I only ended up giving one survive. So, but her, that should be the only one that could do anything from being paired.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And if you don't have a good place to brumate them, getting a little wine cooler or something can be great. I will say last year, so I have a whole room to brumate stuff in, but the issue I have is I get all these colubrids that want to eat lizards in like July, August, start of September. Well, they hatch and they start losing weight until I'm ready to brumate in like the end of November. So I bought a wine cooler so that I could put them down in like September, because I know they're not going to eat. I mean, I can try, I know 75 to 90% just aren't going to eat. And that's because they don't eat in the wild. A lot of times in the wild, they're born in October, November. They're not going to happen upon a lizard, especially when it's 65 degrees at the warmest. We know that's pretty common for them to just go down. They've got this whole big yolk that keeps them through the winter. So it's not really natural for them to go gangbusters eating their first fall anyway. So I bought the wine cooler so I could put the babies down sooner, keep them from losing weight, and then bring them up, in the winter when I'm not dealing with so many adults, and I can really work with them and kind of trick them. This is your first spring. Let's get you on mice. And the one wine cooler that I bought, I still haven't figured out what the issue is. I'm probably never going to figure it out because I looked up how much these, what are they? They're like an industrial sensor that will tell you like CO2, ozone, all this stuff. Well, I had snakes, so they're all in deli cups stacked up. I had snakes dying like on the same level. So there was like a buildup of ozone or CO2 or something was messed up in there. And I was having like just deaths across one row, and then everybody else is fine. Wow. I had it happen twice, and then I was like, fuck this, I'm not using this thing anymore. So I took them all out. I bought another one this season, much bigger, nicer one. And I didn't have any of those issues, but I think I want to throw that out there to people who are like, oh, I'll just throw them in a wine cooler. I think you have to be careful about opening the door, making sure there's good air exchange. I had a bad experience with the first one I had, so it's
My
not
wife-
just.
Oh no, I was gonna say my wife's asking what the roommate at, but roommate at.
Yeah. So mine right now is 50 degrees. Honestly, I've gotten it colder this year. Some of my kings were in the high 30s, like 39. That's a little close to the chest. Honestly, you probably don't want to go that low because, that's a little risky. But I've been to these places and it gets really cold. And I know, of course, they're underground where it's 10, 15 degrees warmer. But where I found the first pyro, there's probably 10 feet of snow on the ground there right now.
Wow.
So it's colder than people think. Like I said, with the California Mountain Kings, same sort of situation. But 55 to 60 is kind of generally accepted as like it's going to do something for them. I think the closer you can get to 50, the better. And then with like corns or MBK stuff like that, 50's totally fine.
That's something I'll work on this summer with doing, because like I said, it's not dire that I make them or anything. I have them. If they go, they go. Like, it was that kind of thing. But if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it right? Like,
yeah, get them fed up and reset for next year.
Yeah, I have them big and fat. Like, they eat amazing. They do everything they're supposed to do. But like I said, if there's a benefit to doing it, the brumation and all, I'll do that. You're right. I don't want little skinny skeletonized corns if I can help it. I don't want to. I don't want to put them in harm's way.
What season do you start? What month? What month do you suggest to start brumating them?
When do I bring them up?
What month do you put them down?
Honestly, ideally, I would like to get them down by Halloween, but it never happens. I'm usually the second week of November, and then I keep them down November, December, January, February, like first week of March usually. So 3.5 months, 4 months. Okay. It's a nice break.
Yeah, it's a while.
So when you're actually going and putting them
down for
brumation, and that's when right about the time I start dropping temps for the carpets. So that's funny on how that kind of coincides with each other. Yeah, so I'll start around Halloween, beginning of right around the Halloween beginning of November, and I start dropping the temps by like 1 or 2 degrees every week until I hit 70.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's what I was gonna say is depending on what species you keep, you kind of want to play those time frames a little bit. So once one kind of does its thing, then you can kind of ramp up the other, and that's kind of the benefit to brumation for you. I think would be, okay, I can kind of condense this. I get that taken care of. The hatchlings are here, and then kind of move on, because it's really annoying to keep having to pair, especially with MBKs. You got to worry about those guys eating each other and stuff. You got to, or at least killing each other. You have to supervise them, which is
fantastic
annoying.
Info. Like, this worth its weight in gold kind of info. So,
I'm enjoying this. I'm not gonna lie.
My favorite.
That's great. Like I said, I know balls, right? I don't temp drop balls or anything. I know balls. I can do 70, 80 clutches a year, blah, blah, blah. Her learning this kind of stuff or hearing this kind of stuff from somebody that actually does it is like awesome. Like,
yeah. Dude, I was on the phone with Joel for like 2 hours, man. I lost track of time.
Yeah, as a whole, I'm a reptile lover. Like I said, I do ball pythons because I'm good at it, and this is what my room calls for temperature-wise. So balls it was, because I used to have an area like you do on the room here. I don't have that now. But I do like colubrids. I started with colubrids. I made king snakes in the beginning and all that kind of stuff. I did it with a guy. He did brumate. So we did have like success with some kings, Cali kings, and like just, Jane kings, stuff like that. Well, get out of that, did the balls. Now, actually, I went back into the colubrids because I like the scales like this. So I wasn't sure about the brumation part. Like I said, I really never talked to anybody deeply that really did this. Just, a couple guys had snakes here or there, and so much mixed information.
Yeah.
So no, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a big barrier. People just hear the word brumation and they're like, nah, I'm not doing, like, it's just a wall. They're like, I don't want to even go there. I don't have to go there with my other species, so I'm just not gonna do it.
I wish I could bromate all my snakes.
Yep.
Yeah,
It'd be awesome.
I know.
Same
How
here.
much it's so much easier.
Yep.
So much easier.
I don't want to
Same
be
here.
ignorant of going, oh, I can make ball pythons and everything's going to be a ball python, because that's not the case at all. I know this stuff's so different from every species to species. So I appreciate the,
For
whatever.
sure.
I think people
I
get
wanted to ask
scared
you
of the
guys-
colder temps.
Right.
Yeah,
Have you guys heard of?
That's exactly what it is. The cold temp scares the shit out of people.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you. I'm used to balls. I hear this shit. I'm like 39. I'm like, oh my God.
Snow on the ground. What?
It's no different than Nate. Nate just talked about what's it called, the Mountain Kings. Well, me and Nate are in together on some Mountain Kings. Where are they at? They're at Nate's house. Why? His room's cooler.
Yep.
Right. I was scared to death to bring them here. Nate's like, yo, I got the room. I'm gonna put them here. We're literally a 5 to 10 degree difference in our rooms.
Yep.
Maybe 20.
Nah,
John runs a sweat shop in his.
I'm at 76. Stop it.
Do you guys know who Corey Woods is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Do you know he like kind of does a forced brumation thing on his ball pythons
I
heard about that.
or a temp drop, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of what
He
the
kills
temps are.
power to his room for like 3 days or something.
Yeah. This last year he got him down to like 49 or something like that.
Oh, fuck.
Oh wow.
It's crazy.
Oh,
but I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, it
hope
makes
he-
no sense from like an ecological standpoint. Like that's never happening in equatorial Africa, but he might be condensing his season, which would be sick. I would love to condense my ball python season more than it is now.
I'm sure there's something to it, right? Like Corey knows what he's doing. I mean,
He really does.
he got some shit, like, and he's been doing it forever.
I wonder what his
Oh, yeah.
odds are of getting girls to go though.
Probably good, dude. Like I
Way
said,
high. He said that's why he did it, because he
Nice.
had the accidental ice freeze or whatever one year, and then that was
Yeah,
his
he lost
banner
power.
year, best year ever. And this guy's been doing this shit full time since 2004.
Right.
Like
30
that is
years.
legit. And Mark Bailey, I don't know how he does it, but he condenses his season down to like a 3-4 month period, and then he's chilling the rest of the year.
I'm sure it's all doable, right? Temperature husbandry is the key to all of this stuff. It's like, it's just how low do you go? Like,
Yeah. Would you
That's
guys ever
more-
try a force cool on your ball pythons?
Yeah, I would.
Would you?
So I don't know if I try. I know the big thing that scares me is because I've got diamonds growing up, and I like in order to get them to breed, from what I'm being told from some of the best Morelia breeders, is you got to go scary cold with them in order to set them off. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I don't know if I can do that to these animals, because like they're like my dream snakes to own. And I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of one of my turnoffs with Dominican red mountain boas was, feeding lizards. Just being able to get them, getting feeder lizards.
Yeah.
Yeah, use a few pair of bamboo rat snakes. Same thing. They need a cooler and everything. I couldn't provide it to breed, so I ended up getting out of them. I had them in my daughter's room, and they were like, her room's a lot cooler than the snake room. But yeah, man, I didn't have the temperature really to do what I wanted to with them, so I basically bailed.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Now, Joel, how do you go about because with Chris, I wanted to ask this when we were talking about the feeder lizards and stuff. Do you breed your own lizards just solely for that?
Yeah,
or
that's
do you have somebody that is a lizard breeder that just breeds some stuff for that purpose?
No, yeah, I'm glad you asked that. That's exactly where I was going to go. So all my snake friends are like, dude, you're like the lizard king. Like you can breed lizards. Like get some side blotch lizards. They're always bringing me all these lizards being like, here, this one's gravid, do this. And I'm like, dude, I've tried. These lizards are so stupid. They will literally get gravid, bask, and then they lay their eggs right under the heat lamp. And you have to be watching in order to get them out in time. Like, I don't know how they survive in the wild. I have tried, turning down the lamp. I've tried giving them just pretty much a temperate environment until they're done laying, and they will always find a way to screw it up. They'll like dig their little nest, and then they'll like kick their eggs all the way across the cage and roll them all over, and then they don't. So I've tried outside. I've tried inside. I mean, I've produced some Western fence lizards, some side blotch lizards, like I say, sagebrush lizards. Those are all the kind of things that are native to me. I'm trying to breed Great Basin skinks right now.
Ooh,
I've been keeping them for about 7 years, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But then again, I don't brewmate them, so I probably need to take it a little more seriously and brewmate them. I can't even see, though, if I produce these tiny little blue-tailed skinks that I'm going to be able to feed one off. I love them so much. They're one of the coolest animals that I keep. They're like a tiny little monitor, kind of like an Aki is. Like,
oh, wow.
They're so cool. Like, so I don't know. Even if I make them, I'm probably just going to set them free or something like that because they're just too cool to feed off. But what I do is I go out in the fall, like late summer, early fall, when the lizards are still small because they grow fast. Like they'll hatch. They're, you know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Within like 3 weeks, they're too big for a baby colubrid to eat. Like it's crazy how fast they eat.
Oh, wow.
Because they breed their first year. So they get to like sub-adulthood by like October, November, and then the next year, I mean, by and large, I'm sure there's, you know, exceptions, but by and large, they're breeding by like April, May, that next season. So they grow super fast. And so you got to be pretty quick. And even that's even the problem when I go out and catch them, that I put them in captivity and they do great. But the problem is they eat so fast and they get big so fast. And, you know, I'm not going to like limit them on calories or anything. I'm not going to like try to stunt them or anything like that. But so I do that with me. I'll maybe go through like 20 or 25 baby lizards. It's hard because I don't want to like go far and like take a whole hillside worth, and I don't want to deplete them where I'm at. So it's kind of tricky. If I was more heartless, honestly, and I could just collect like 100 or 200 and throw them in the freezer, I'd be way better off. But I'm just not really willing to do that. I think it's just kind of rough. So I have made
shows. I mean, that shows what type of character you have. I mean, you appreciate these animals for what they are.
Yeah,
I'm
a lizard guy. I mean,
no, it sounds like you got a lot of good herping up there.
It shows how detailed some of this stuff can get, right?
Yeah.
Like people that
sure.
take for granted what it takes to make some of these animals and get them thriving and get them into other people's hands and everything. It's crazy.
That's why I appreciate ball python so much, because I'm like, thank you. Like all I had to do was give you a live hopper and I am set. Like you're good. We'll take a rat fuzzy next week.
Yeah. They're the easy bake oven snakes of the world, right? You just gotta point them in somebody's direction, slapping them together. Okay, do this temperature, bing, okay, feed them a wrap up or whatever.
And that is something I want to mention with colubrids, or at least with these type of snakes, that you lose a few. I mean, I think a lot of people, like I produced actually 2 world's firsts this last year in pyros. I still haven't even announced them yet because I don't want to announce them until they're established and they're eating.
Yeah.
Still not eating, so I'm still not going to say anything about it. But they're triple recessives, I'll tell you that.
Oh,
the first 2 triple recessives ever made in pyros. But I can't count my chickens, I mean, even after they hatch, because if the things just fail to thrive, then it didn't really mean much.
Yep.
So I think that's something that people need to realize. Like, I have a lot of customers who are like, hey, do you have any of this species or that species? And I'm like, yeah, but they've only taken like 2 meals. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, it's good. And I'm like, okay, if you think you know what you're doing. And then sometimes it turns out that they're like, well, it just stopped feeding when it got here. And, you know, you can offer to take the snake back or whatever. But I mean, these snakes are so small and so frail. Like they've only got a few weeks of, you know, if they're at a warm temperature. That's one of the mistakes people make, is they keep them at like a hognose, you know, temperature versus like a mountain king level. And so in 3 weeks, they've lost 50% of their body weight. And
wow,
you know, that's a wrap. So that's actually one of the reasons that I don't post my colubrids by and large until the following like spring. So I'm now just barely posting my colubrids for 2024 now, because I don't like to have a lot of those issues. It's just, you know, it's a lot of work for me to, you know, go through all those issues with the customer. It's a lot of stress on them. It's really annoying to have 350 colubrids sit here for 7-8 months, let me tell you. But honestly, it's the better way to do things, because you're going to lose some. And I think it's funny because a lot of the other colubrid guys just totally skirt around that issue. They just never, they're like, yeah, I made 8 babies in that clutch and I've got 8 now. It's like, no, you had 12 and you got 8 now.
So it's very safe to say
they
you
crash.
deal with stress and anxiety very well.
Right?
Me, I'd be like, freaking my brain
dude.
explode.
Yeah. This year has been
That's
has
a whole
been
different ball
crazy.
game.
Oh, it's a whole different ball game, right? Could you imagine holding 350 ball pythons, making sure they're going to do this, not announcing shit for freaking 6 to 7 months to make sure it thrives, or a year? Or that's anxiety, man.
Yeah,
Nate,
it's a different ball, for sure.
Nate, how does that feel? That what John's describing?
I was just shaking my head.
I got anxiety over ball pythons. I don't know, man. I'm getting anxiety just talking about this stuff.
For real.
I get anxiety just getting corn snakes eating.
Dude, corn snakes can be the hardest. Like, if you get a hard one, they're harder than absolutely anything I've ever dealt with.
Pain in the ass.
Yes.
For sure.
So that's the thing about gray bands. People are like, oh, I won't touch a gray band. I'm like, yeah, but you're breeding corn snakes, dude. If you get a hard corn snake, it's harder than a gray band. It won't eat anything. And an old, it won't eat a freaking earthworm, nothing.
The worst is when you finally get them after months, and then they
die.
randomly die for no reason.
Yep. That happens. So I have a kid that works for me, and I've had to kind of explain to him how this all works. I'm like, we're looking at 400 colubrids now, and we're working to get them feeding. You know, like right now, I think I have 64 that are taking scented, so lizard scented, which we got to get back to how I'm doing that. I have 30 that I'm force feeding, and then I've got about 30 they're taking live, and then everybody else is pretty much on frozen thawed. With the ones that are force feeding, though, you know, once you kick on that metabolism and kind of force that into overdrive, you've got to stay on top of that and feed them like every 5 days, and that is very difficult to do if you've got all the other shit that I've got going on here.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes it's 10 days or 12 days in between feedings, and that's just not enough, and they'll crash. So,
do you do the snakes full time, or do you have a job on top of all this?
yeah, I do snakes full time since 2020.
Let's say, man, if you had a full time job on top of what you're describing, I couldn't even imagine. Like,
I used to fall asleep at the wheel a lot when I still had a job.
Yep.
Because I'd be out scenting king snakes till 4 a.m.
I'm sitting here thinking, all right, I stress and moan and groan when I have 1 or maybe 2 ball pythons I got to do an assist feed on. And you're sitting here saying 30. I'm just here thinking, hell no. No.
It's a whole other ball game, Jeremy. Like, listening to this.
You get good at assist feeding. Wait, also, you don't realize assist feeding little tiny worm-sized snakes is a whole different thing than what you're used to.
Yeah, that's what we
totally
learned,
different.
What we learned to assist feed or baby corns. It's like it's not easy, man.
Oh,
like it's
you've
just
got to
a
be
ball
so
python
gentle.
now. It's just like you're done.
Right. Yeah, they're so robust. But baby colubrids, man, sometimes you're force feeding them and you're like, oh, I don't like the way that sounds. I don't. Let's just abort this. Like, you can't take it, buddy.
Yeah, feeding them tails and wherever, like all kinds of crazy shit.
Yep.
Nuts.
Yeah, so there was a time that I was using carnivore care. I don't know if you guys are familiar with carnivore care. It's like a freeze.
Is that like the Reptilia or something? Or
no, it's a freeze dried powder that's mostly made of eggs, but it's made for like, so say you've got like a mink or something, or like a bobcat or whatever that's like malnourished and it won't eat anything. They'll like tube feed this to like carnivore species like that.
Okay.
Because it has high protein and high fat and stuff like that. So you can actually tube feed that to colubrids. And I've had mixed results with it. Like, I felt like some years it worked really well. Some years I felt like it just didn't do anything. And it has a short shelf life. And I don't know if I realized that the first year maybe. So I think maybe some of it was to do with that, where I'm like giving them empty calories. And then, of course, that's not going to do anything. The other thing with doing that is, you know, just using like some isopropyl alcohol or something and wiping off the tip of the tube really isn't great infection control, to just keep shoving it down each snake's throat. Like, you know, you pull it out and there's like mucus on it and you're like, yeah, I really should be putting on a different tube for every snake, but I don't have 400 tubes or, you know, whatever, 100. You know, when I first started this season, it was roughly a quarter of my 400 colubrids wouldn't eat. So it would have been, you know, like 100 tubes. I think they're like $3 a piece. And then you'd have to label each one. And then, I mean, it would be unruly, you know, like it just wouldn't work out.
I don't know about you guys, man, but this guy makes me really appreciate what I do, man. here listening to all this, I'm like, I'm gonna stop bitching about shit from now on because goddamn,
Yeah, it could be a lot harder.
it could be a lot worse, right?
Yep, that's true. But I will tell you the one caveat though is that 95% of the stuff that I'm beating my head against the wall about is going to sell within a week or 3 maybe at the most, versus, you know, I've got over 100 ball pythons on Morph Market right now, and it's like wading through sludge to get sales. Like, oh my god, like I see the value in a freaking GHI mahogany double het hypoclown female. Doesn't anybody else?
Right.
You know, so that's
Are your auctions still going live right now?
no, they all ended last night, and they were all pretty disappointing.
Yeah, same.
So the Colubert, you would say some of your Colubert market, like you have a waiting list for some of this stuff, and like it just moves way easier than.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not done enough to keep a waiting list, but if I was, I'd be more anxious than I am now.
So when you post the stuff, it just flies out the door because of what it is, and
a lot of it, yeah.
Okay.
The certain bloodlines of Leonis have been really, really good. The Arizona Mountain Kings are kind of a niche thing, so it takes time for a lot of those projects to move because, you know, think about working a triple recessive project with a snake that only lays 3 eggs a year. That's tough.
How is the Colubert community versus the ball python community? We know the ball python community is toxic as shit. So the Colubert community a little better with the stuff, or are they a lot of bullshit?
Oh man, that's a good question. That's a good question.
A lot of tire kickers.
Well, just saying,
less. Oh, dude, way less tire kickers because these people don't have any illusions about getting rich off of this shit. You know, that's why you get the tire kicker like illusions of grandeur, motherfuckers, because they're like, oh, I've been watching whatever Muscle Serpents University, and I know that this is worth, you know. It's like, bro, you don't need a payment plan for $100 snake. Where the fuck are you gonna get doing that?
We're saying that a lot of your colubrits go overseas.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I can't say all of my Barons racers pretty much go overseas. I just sent some Arizona Mountain Kings to China not too long ago. I guess that was November. And then, yeah, I've got another guy in China who's wanting to buy a big group of Arizona Mountain Kings. Trying to think what else. Some Leonis have gone over to Hong Kong. Generally, they don't go to Europe. The European market is a little soft on colubrids, so there have been years that I've bought stuff from there and resold it here. That's not something I generally do, but I would buy like the whole clutch, keep what I want, you know, post the rest because it cost me $100 a snake. They're worth 300 here. Why not? And they're from reputable people, like well-known people. It's not like that. It sounds like horrible flipping. It's really not that big of a deal. But I mean, it just made so much sense. Like, oh, I'm making super hypo Durango Mountain Kings. They're $1,300 here, but this guy in Europe is selling them for like $225. So, you know, I'll take them, go through them, keep what I need. I don't know what the sex ratios are or whatever, and then, you know, you just sell off the rest. It's more even now. But same thing. I mean, it's even, so there's no reason for us to send stuff there and vice versa. And it's kind of the same with the ball python market in Europe right now. From what I understand, is it's kind of expensive for them to get stuff from us, and you know, it's a little more likely, I think, that Americans would bring stuff over from Europe because their prices are a little soft as well. Like I just had a guy in Poland who wanted to get some of my Axanthic stuff, and he talked to Sander from DDI, Dutch Dragons, and it was like 800 euros to import an adult male. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
That was a
now
eye-opening.
You said the magic word, Joel. What line of Axanthic?
I work DPI.
Oh, damn it, Joel. Wrong answer.
I know. It's just there's so much more of it, you know, that
No, you don't need to make excuses, Joel.
Yeah.
He's the odd one out, buddy, so don't worry about him.
He said he doesn't like making yellow freaking Axanthics, Jeremy.
Hey, they're glow Axanthics, damn it. Glow Axanthics when they do that.
Glow,
to be fair,
gold, same thing, I guess.
To be fair, I made a super sulfur Axanthic, and it was just, super sulfurs just have like a little bit of black flecking and the yellow, right? There was no yellow on it. So it was just black flecking, white snake. And now that he's an adult, he has these big yellow patches.
Oh,
So,
shit.
it looks cool, but it does not look axanthic.
John put me into a complex one night. Actually, John and Nate both put me into a complex, but it's more John, so I blame him. But he was questioning some of these axanthics I produced because they had a slight yellow tint. He was telling me, he goes, they're not freaking axanthics, Jeremy.
They were slight yellow, bro. They were fucking yellow.
they were not that yellow, damn it.
They're all hypoxanthic. We're actually using the wrong term. They're hypoxanthic. They're not axanthic because there is a little bit of yellow left.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
That's facts. And that's one of the genes I work in Arizona Mountain Kings is hypoerythristic. So it's reduced red. In ball pythons, they call that shit anery so fast. But we're a little more meticulous. We're like, that's not correct. So we're going to call it hypo-E. It's annoying. I'd love to call them anery, and some of them do look anery, but, it's part of the dichotomy, where people are like some of the ball python industry is like really all about shock value and a good name and, all that stuff that's going to sell. And with colubrid people, they're like, it's never going to sell and I don't care. So I'm just going to call it what it is,
Yep.
Look at Will here. Asian looking axanthics are the best. Freaking Will. Keith, thank you so much, bro, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate it. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it because you paid the $2. VPI is the best.
Oh,
I hate saying that.
About time he came.
God, he sold the devil for $2.
It only costs
No. I'm reading what he wrote. I'm reading what he wrote. I'm not saying it for me personally. I'm just reading what the man wrote.
You just sold your soul to the devil for $2. Holy shit, this market.
Wow. What do you do for
the market's over.
Yeah, what would you do for 20?
Yeah, I know, right?
Not as much as you, Chris. Not as much as you.
Jeremy's rack's gonna be full of colubrids next week.
I gotta say, the colubrids are fascinating, man.
Oh,
I'm still stuck on the only thing that I really think that I would remotely want to add colubrid wise to the collection would be a California king snake, just because it's the black and white. I have an addiction with black and white. But I think hearing some of the crap you're going through, Joel, there's no way in hell I got the patience or any of that to do that. There's just no way, man.
I like the indigos.
My wife just texted, but basically she thinks I'm going to sell over colubrids because of what you told me. I actually think what you just talked about is more fascinating. I actually whatever. Like, no, I don't want to freaking have to pump 400 babies like you just said and stuff. But like the brumation, the coming out of it, like this, it's something fun. It's different. So no, hon, I'm not getting rid of all of our colubrid.
John, remember the other night I said I was only doing 2 corn clutches this year?
Yeah.
Remember I said why?
Yep. Yeah.
Look,
especially when they double clutch.
Right. I don't want to do a ton. Like I said, I don't have the space or the room, but it'd be cool to get a couple scaleless on the ground and whatever. And like I said, I might even look into some of these other ones and talk to Joel later about some of this other stuff.
I like the rats he was talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and I do work with corn snakes too. I didn't mention them, but of course.
Do you have hog noses?
Oh yeah, hog nose too. Oh man,
he's got everything.
It's hard. I told myself I should write some notes about like what species because I do that. I'll get on a podcast or something and I'll just be like, yeah, this and this, and then I'm like, totally forgot all about the barons and the this and the that. But yeah, hognose are another really important species to me. Hognose are so cool. I think even though they've been more popular lately, they're still so underrated. And that's another one that people worry about with having to scent with like amphibians or tuna or whatever. I've never had to do any of this tuna or salmon or all this shit that people talk about. I've never had to do any of that stuff. The only thing I'll ever do, well, and this is because bloodlines matter, because, if you get them from a field where all they eat is toads, that's what they're going to want, because that's just what they're ingrained to do. So I've been lucky though, because a lot of the ones I have are from Montana, where they're generally, it's I guess accepted that they're pretty open to whatever they come across. But it's pretty easy if you have one that won't eat. Just take like a salamander, because when I go road cruising, and it's raining, there are dead frogs and salamanders on the road. I'll just pick those up, put them in the freezer, and just give them a little tiny piece of like a salamander tail or like a frog leg or something like that. Dude, you just give them that one. They'll eat the little appendage. They eat that, and then the next time you just scent the pinky with that, and it's like a two-time thing, and it's done. And they're
wow.
Oh wow.
So like, yeah, I mean, I guess if you live in Europe or something, and there's no frog, there's frogs in Europe, but whatever. Those are the guys that I see talking about tuna juice and all this canned shit, and I'm like, dude, just get a freaking frog, bro. Like, that's what they want.
We had huge success with opening a can of cat food. Believe it or not, like we had these tiny little hogs we got in. I just literally just dipped the pinky in them. They slammed them. They would eat the pink. They would eat everything. I'm just like, oh my god.
I believe
the
that.
smell was in the room, so they're just biting around everywhere looking for it. I was like, oh, that smells so bad, of course, but yeah, they went nutty. But yeah,
that's the one thing that surprises me about hognose though, is they're so pissy, and they're like, sometimes they scare the shit out of you. You walk by it, and they're like, and they hiss loud, and you're like, holy shit. Like, if you're just in the wrong mood and you're just on edge for whatever reason, dude, they'll make you jump to the moon.
They will.
And it surprises me that so many women are into hognose snakes. Like, it's predominantly women who buy hognose, and I'm like, I can't believe you guys can put up with this, because it is so annoying sometimes. Like,
yeah, they flip out of nowhere. They'll be just sitting there and be like,
yeah. My girlfriend fucking hates them.
You want one?
Especially when they're big.
I got a hognose here I can give somebody. Somebody want it? It's my biggest pain in the ass snake in the collection.
You still have that male?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's back to not eating again. It's the most frustrating animal ever.
My male sucks. My females are awesome. My male is terrible. They don't grow.
Can you get a salamander? Not this time of year, but
a frozen one.
Yeah. I can mail you a frozen piece of tail.
See, I do have one. He's just gotta flip some rocks. He'll find one.
Yeah, sure. They're out there by where Nate's house is.
Oh, there's plenty of salamanders. I just don't feel like going out there and looking in the freezing cold.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I would feel fucked up about feeding off like live. Salamanders are so cool. Like, I don't think I could ice one and then cut it up. Like, that's just.
I haven't seen a salamander in probably 15 years where I live now. It's like I'm stuck now, so I don't see them anymore.
I find drug needles.
That's
what I find outside.
Has anyone tried scenting them with fentanyl?
Yeah. Suboxone wrappers, condom wrappers.
Fentanyl.
That's what I find.
Make a big new snake discovery. Fentanyl's the key.
Yeah.
Wear a mask when you do it, but give it a try.
I gotta move.
Yeah.
So let's. I want to hear about these barons more.
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's see where to even start. Here's something that I've asked multiple people, and nobody seems to give me a straight answer. What is the deal with the blue barons? Is it recessive? Is it not? What is it?
We don't know, but the best.
Another person tells me they don't know.
Yeah, we don't. Like, nobody knows. That's the thing. If somebody tells you they know, they're full of shit, because it's not known. Like, it seems to be
like
I would say
polymorphic gene, or
that would be my best guess. It acts somewhat recessive because you get one that has that like tendency to throw, like, and the thing is, there's like shades, right? Like, people think a blue barons is a blue barons, but that's not true. There's a whole gamut from like a teal to a powder blue one, and so that's another thing that throws people off, because and when they're first born, you can hardly tell. The only thing you can really tell is under the black line. The green ones are yellow, and the blue ones are more white. But other than that, I mean, they're
question. That's
well, he just answered my question, because I was going to ask, do they start off as this, or do they go through like an ontogenetic color change?
Yeah, they shift big time.
Okay.
So they're like
last year, I was telling Chris this. Oh, go ahead.
I said to Chris the other night, one of my female is yellow under. The male is more of a teal, and he's stark white under.
Okay. Then the male should be blue.
So you think it's just a matter of time then, maybe?
How young is it?
Year.
Once you're to that,
he's not green like the female though.
Okay, so you might have one of the kind of tealy ones then.
He's like teal colored, yeah.
Yeah. I would be surprised. Like, is he like bigger than this?
Yeah, a little bit.
Then I would be surprised if he goes like powder blue, but like if you have a teal one, in my mind, you have more of a blue one than you have a green one. Like you've got blue in there, and so with breeding, you're gonna get, I would think, legit blues as long as.
Is that how they got to it? They basically line bred the blue.
I wish I knew. I don't even know that. I don't even know where the first blue came from, or I have always assumed that they found blue ones in the wild, and the like conventional thought was that it's just an axanthic, just like they have in like rough green snakes. The axanthic is blue, or
and iguanas.
Yeah, exactly. But the more we've bred it, the more it doesn't seem like it's really a true axanthic, or like I don't know of any axanthic that's not recessive. So
has anybody done the blue to the blue, and that's still why there's unknowns and whatnot?
They're always blue if you do blue to blue.
They're always blue. Okay.
Always. So that shows it recessive.
So I have a green female from a blue pairing, and she's more of a teal color. She doesn't have she's not white. She's definitely not white, but she's not really like yellow like I see on some of the greens.
It's hard, man. I want to breed a blue to a brown, and then I want to see what those are, and then I want to breed a baby back to a blue and see what happens. That's really what I want to do.
I think it's fair.
Oh, Chris, let me put you up on the big screen. Nobody's gonna be able to see you on that little peewee screen.
That's an excuse for me to put this milk snake away.
I wanted you to look at it.
We're here while he goes and does that. Let me run the last.
Green snake away, Chris.
Put that bullshit away.
Put that green snake away.
Put your worm away.
That thing's way too big to turn blue.
Let me run this last channel sponsor ad real quick, Chris.
That's not even a Barron's.
Head on over to Triforce Morphs if you're looking for that missing piece in your ball python breeding project. While you're there, add a little bit of lace or citron to the mix, folks. John and Christine can also hook you up with the crested gecko, so don't forget that. Turn up the heat with Triforce Morphs. If you want to use the best reptile record keeping and tracking software on the market today, scan the QR code or click our partnership link in the description down below for a free 30-day trial of Husbandry Pro. I promise you, you will not regret it.
Oh, here, I gotta go to the bathroom. Keep showing it. Just kidding.
You're never coming on again.
I love this dude. Holy shit.
But yeah, she doesn't have.
So that's your blue one, right? Your blue?
Green.
Oh, that's the green one.
Yeah. She's green from a blue pairing.
Yeah, dude. The fact that she has no true yellow throat. Well, I see a little yellow.
They sold her as a green
Very
het
subtle.
blue.
Yeah. Man, it's.
I know.
I don't know what the thing is. I don't know how to unpack. Like, number one, we need to know where the blue came from. Like, if it was found in the wild, then great. But if this thing was bred in captivity and just to be blue, like, then we're gonna breed it for years, and no wonder we're never gonna figure it out because it's line bred. Yeah, that one's obviously blue. So that's number one, I guess, is to figure out where the hell the blue actually came from.
I shouldn't even be fucking with them because they ate.
What did you
I know
say?
that's
So Joel, I have a question because I had this experience tonight. Have you ever had one of your Barons, its nose get bent?
yes, I have.
Does it go back?
Yeah,
Or does it...
usually. So that it seems like that rostral like material, whatever that flesh is like really kind of sensitive, and you can actually see like the interstitial skin below it sometimes will get a little bit inflamed, and it seems like I have had one get bent, and then I'm trying to remember. I think it came back not fully like 100% straight, but it went way back
after a few sheds or something.
Yep, after a couple sheds. Yep.
Because I went in tonight and just happened to look at her, and I was like, "What the heck happened to you?"
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that's because they're always racing towards this and that, and they're just bashing their nose against stuff. Oh, and I think that just gives them that bulbous, like, swelling.
That's exactly what it looked like. Yeah.
Yep. Ooh. I'll tell you something funny I told Chris, though. So I had my Barons in brumation maybe 3 years ago. And so I have 28 quart tubs, and I have holes drilled along the sides. I don't melt them in or anything. I just drill them out. And I was watering her, and she had her face up against one of the holes. And I looked from the inside. I was like, why is her face just stuck there? And then I looked on the other side, and her tongue was out of the hole and dried onto the outside of the hole.
Oh my
God. And I had to free it. And so she lost the forked part of her tongue. She got it. Yeah, she got it back in. And when it was kind of funny in brumation because she did these slow tongue flicks, and it was just this little tiny stub of a tongue. And since it's happened, she never grew back a fork or anything, but the thing has gotten 4 or 5 times longer. It's the normal length of a tongue.
He's got the Gene Simmons snake.
Wow.
It's the weirdest thing. It's somehow it just knows to regenerate as far as it can. It can't get back the forked part, but it can grow. And yeah, it's one of the weirdest things I've seen. I felt really bad for her. If I remember correctly, I think I had to snip it off because I couldn't peel it off. I'm pretty sure I had to cut it. I'm trying to remember, but yeah, it was bizarre. So I guess that's one for people who use the little the melting tool. I guess.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to talk about those super rare ones.
Yeah. Is there a way to share the image though? That would be the move.
Is there a present button at the bottom?
If you go down,
I think I saved them to my. Is that possible, Jeremy?
If you click, do you have a present button at the very bottom of your screen? It should be present and then share screen.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, when that pops up, I'll just open it up.
Let me make sure I got the photos on here first. So have you guys heard of melanistic barons?
You're the first one I ever heard it.
I saw somebody recently posted a melanistic barons racer on Instagram, and it was kind of just peppering of dark scales, like the inside of the scale was kind of black, and then the outside was blue or green or whatever it was. And it was kind of funny because everybody in the comments was like, "Oh, the black barons," and I was like, "Dude, that's not a black barons, but there is a real black barons." I guess I could pull it up on my Facebook, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have the share screen set up? So I don't see a screen. Nothing popped up on my end to add it.
Not yet. Oh, okay. Here, I just figured I would share screen. Is that how I do it?
Yeah, share screen, and then you probably have to click on something there on the. You probably have to. It comes up Microsoft Edge,
okay.
Tab, window, however. Yeah, there we go. Now I'll add it. Cool.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I saved these to my desktop, but I don't know where they went. But let me just go to this. Baron, and you guys should join this Facebook group.
It's Elon.
In it, the Baron I fan group. Sure. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Man, watching his little dance, whatever the thing he did on stage last week was something else. Can you guys hear me? It sounds like it's glitching out on my end.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, no, you're coming through loud and clear.
Yeah, I just joined.
Okay.
Oh, we lost him.
Don't.
He said,
He booted himself on the stage.
Come back, Joel. Come back.
There's some crazy shit so far.
yeah, dude.
Dude, like I know we had originally said about just doing ball pythons tonight and doing colubrids another night, but I thought it's like, you know what, like we might be like we could probably pull this one off, and because
You do 5 nights of colubrids.
dude, like this is like
No,
this is a whole world I didn't even freaking realize like what they had to go through.
Yeah, I was on the phone with him for like 2 hours, man, and just time flew by. And some of the shit he was telling me, I'm like,
it's always awesome to hear new stuff, right? The stuff
yeah, that's what I thought would be great. I'm like, the fun fact is none of us know him. You know, we'll all get to know him at the same time.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. You know, stay with the guests. You know, everybody gets to, know him.
Good, man. It's always cool to learn new stuff.
And the fact that, I mean, in being in the industry for so long too, like that in itself is badass. Like, I mean, he's been doing it for
2011.
Yeah, I mean that's a good chunk of time. That's as long as you've been in it, John.
Yeah.
Then you start in like 2010 or something like that. 2010, 2011.
Yeah, 20. I think late 2010. But yeah, I was messing like I said with colubrids and I was scared to death of snakes, man. I got in colubrids first and all that shit, and then my first ball pythons were what they were, the spider and a pinstripe, and that's how I started. But yeah, but like I said, I got into colubrids first. Like I do have a love for colubrids. I just can't keep them how I have my room set up. There's a lot of species I'm limited to.
All right, now he's back.
There we go. We lost you.
Yeah, we lost you.
Sorry about that. Okay, do I have to present again?
Yeah, you'll have to go through the whole present the window thing again.
Okay, I do have the photo up on my screen. So.
Okay. Nate, did you see what Greg told you about the hog nose?
What? That he wanted?
Send it his way. He said, send it here, Nate.
Yeah.
All right, let's get. Wonder why it's taking so long for this thing to register to pop up onto the window.
Ed? Are you guys able to see it?
Coming back.
I clicked on it to add it in. It's for whatever reason taking a little bit of time to add to the stage.
The end of the cattle chute heading her direction. Another accident.
What's the snow landing?
Yeah. Fuck. Well, on the way back now they're salting it. Now it's going away.
I didn't even know it was snowing out.
But
dude, I didn't even know it was snowing. It's not snowing here.
You just saw
shit. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it ain't snowing here.
Dom and I missed all of them. In the middle of the cattle chute was the worst.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Got a problem on my.
Oh, we lost him again.
We turned her road.
Something with sharing the screens killing his connection.
Yeah. Chris, you said you had it pulled up, right?
Huh?
Didn't you say you had what he was looking at pulled up on your end?
Oh, no. I said I joined the group.
Oh. Welcome back, Joel.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
How's it going?
Something with sharing the screen. I don't know what it does.
We keep killing his dial-up connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keeps asking me all these questions. What continent do these snakes live on? I don't even. North America?
South America.
What? Seriously, Chris, right now, are you being serious?
I know. Dude, I didn't know they were going to give me a whole quiz on Barons. Jesus Christ. I just bought them.
Wait, they're quizzing you before they let you into the group?
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to make sure he's not a robot.
They want to make sure.
The problem is Chris doesn't even know. He has no clue.
Quarter into ice asleep.
I mean, God, Chris just found out that Live Long and Prosper wasn't the shocker. So, I mean,
true story.
Oh, God. So, Nate, what else did you want to know about the Baron stuff? Because it seemed like that was a hot one on your list.
Can you talk through as far as the breeding process with them? Is it much different than the other colubrid species, or pretty similar?
It's longer. It's definitely a longer process. Actually, I've got a cage right here. Let me see. Yeah, I start pairing in April, and I don't get eggs till mid-July. So it's a lot of the spring into the summer.
Now, are you pairing for how long? You leaving them in there the whole time, or are you taking them in and out?
The nice thing about Barons is I don't think you have to worry about cannibalism or them beating up on each other as far as a pair goes. So I was going to do some research on this because Chris and I were kind of talking about keeping groups. You can see I've got these 3x2x2s behind me. So I've got the carpet up top. You can see the jungle carpet.
I was going to say, I was eyeing that one up there just a second ago. Yep. I was like, yeah, that looks like a carpet.
Yep. And then down below, there's nothing in there. So I was kind of thinking about keeping a pair, maybe the pair of blues in there, or maybe keeping. So all I have adult-wise is a pair of blues and a green. And my green must be het blue or whatever, because every time I breed my blue male to her, I get half blue, half green babies.
Okay.
I talked to Augusta Sachetta from Colubra, and he's like one of the leading importers in Europe of Barons racers, and he said the same thing about the blue green, how it's inherited thing. You know, he has no good answers either. But that's the only thing I worry about is if it's a trio maybe, or, you know, if you had multiple males, I could see them fighting a little bit. The thing I was saying, though, is I don't know how you'd feed the fucking things. If you had a trio together, I mean, the way that they dart for food, like, it would be a nightmare to try to – even a pair, dude. I don't know if I want to deal with trying to feed the pair together, because I've tried to do it when they're, like, together just in a tub, because I'll keep them in, like, a 70 series tub. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, I'll just feed them and put them back in. But, yeah, I usually end up splitting the male off because they'll finish one, and then as soon as they're done, they're looking for the next one. If they see the feet of the other one that's in the female's mouth, and they're like, I'm going for that. So they're bird-brained, man.
They really are. So I can't tell you how many times I've had to catch mine midair.
Yeah.
Pulling out a drawer. No thought in the world. Don't care if they're dead on the floor. Yeah.
And they don't turn and bite is the crazy thing. Like when you grab them, they don't turn and bite. Any other snake? Yeah. Dude, their musk is
that's what got me.
5 worst.
Tonight was really bad.
Baron's musk.
Right before we got on here. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Oh. That's the funny thing, though. Any other snake that jets like that and you grab it around the midsection, it's going to turn and tag you. So I like that about Barons, is they're really not biters.
Yep.
And I have a bone to pick about the rear fang venomous thing, too.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. I was looking up states where they're illegal, because I know they're illegal in Maine. You guys are more... Yeah. So I looked it up. AI couldn't help me. I didn't want to look at every single state. But I know I was talking to somebody in Maine. They're like, I wish I could buy one, but I can't because of the rear fang venomous thing. And I think that's really silly, because I've been bitten by Barons. And same with hognose, dude.
Yeah. You're going to have to eat your hand to really do anything.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't get it.
Have you guys seen Have you guys seen the false water cobra video that Nerd did?
Yeah.
Dude,
I didn't watch that one.
It's so bad for the hobby. What are you doing? Why would you let this snake chew on this for 5 minutes? Like,
so dumb. It was so dumb. So dumb.
And then he's like, next week we're doing the hognose one. I'm like, I hope you fucking step on a landmine before that happens. You're going to hurt a lot of people's money.
I couldn't believe he's the one that did it, too. It was like, what?
I know, because I have a lot of respect for Kevin. Like,
It was
I mean,
it was mind
outside of
blowing. That came out. I was like, no way. That's all who
Yeah,
released.
are you like trying to get this shit outlawed? What are you doing?
Yep. It was so
So
bad.
I never watched the Hognose one, but I know he also did the Hognose one, and I'm like, if you're gonna do that, let it chew on you, not your employee, dude. If this guy dies from this or something, like you're going to prison for this. Like, imagine how a judge would look at that.
He lost me. I don't know how many other people he lost, like watching his shit. Like, I don't even watch any of the videos that come out from them anymore. I don't even care.
Yep. The false water cobra one was the last one I watched.
Well, he talked all that shit about the ball python market and everything too. On top of, like, right before that, I was like, bro, what are you doing?
So
because no one wants Lucifer and Odium.
Yeah, right. It made no sense.
So my plan with the Barons, I don't know, the way I was figuring it was like, you know, the first week of the month, you know, just pair, because I'm going to probably breed one male to two females. So I was just going to throw the male in with one girl for a week, just let them chill for a week, and hopefully they do something. Then for a week, you know, separate them, let them eat. And then the third week, pair them to the other female. And then fourth week, give them a break, let them eat. And then just, you know, try and do one lock a month on the female. I don't, you know.
Yeah, I'd try to give them a little more than that as far as locks go. I mean, if they're together for a week, I think you can pretty much guarantee that they're locking up 2, 3, 4 times during that period. They also need the females need a lot of food. You're going to have to feed them like 2 or 3 times a week if you want to get a good clutch. And that's another thing about colubrids that people aren't really prepared for, is everybody thinks, oh yeah, once a week. And it's like, if you want, you know, to have good fecundity, you're going to have to pump some of these females to kind of an uncomfortable level. And especially the Barons. And I don't know what it is about the blue ones. For some reason, it seems like people have a little lower fertility with the blue ones. And that's been my experience, is usually the green female will lay like 18 to 22 eggs, something like that. And they're almost always good. Every once in a while, one will go bad or several will go bad, but I mean, they're perfect pearly whites. And then the blue female will have half and half pretty much every time. You know, sometimes it's 10 good, 8 bad. Sometimes it's 8 bad, 10 good. And it seemed like that Facebook page I was trying to show you guys, you see that quite a bit with the blue ones. So it'd be kind of interesting to know if that was something to do with the gene or whatever it is. And
they double clutch too,
that's what I do. They what?
They double clutch too, right?
They double clutch. I have never had one double clutch that I can remember. Okay. I would not want mine to double clutch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know
wouldn't want mine to double clutch.
The one girl, Casey, she I think hers double clutched.
Really?
Yeah.
She must be feeding a crazy amount, because my females are, you know, I don't know, bigger than a 50-cent piece. The eggs are like that. So when they lay that thing, man, they are just flat. They look so bad after they lay 20 eggs. I mean, the clump is like that big, you know, like it's almost like weight-wise, it's almost like a ball python clutch. It's fucking huge.
Wow.
The mass of eggs they lay. So I can't even imagine double clutching one. That would be. I'm glad they never have, because they look. Was she able to get them back on and like go the next year?
I didn't get all in that with her, but I can send you her information. You can hit her up. She's pretty.
I would just be curious because.
Yeah, definitely.
How many eggs?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know.
How many eggs do they average? Like just the Barons, you would say
like 20.
Okay. I would say it's a big pile. You're saying like
it's a big pile.
Oh yeah. Now, how big is an adult?
And they incubate for 3 months. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, all this information to me is all like I never even heard about Barons laying or anything.
And what's that like? You're talking like a 4-year-old, 5-year-old female?
Yeah, I would be surprised if you could get one healthy and breeding in under 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of snake you got to grow up.
Yeah.
How big do they get? Like, I don't even know how big a Barons racer gets.
I want to say that I saw one on Black Pearl's website or Facebook that was like 9 foot. It was huge. It was humongous. Like he was holding it like this, and it was like wrapped around his leg, and then there was like 6 more feet going up to the ceiling fan. It was crazy, and this thing had to have been like that big around. It was massive.
Oh wow!
See, I mean,
mine are like
that big.
Yeah, mine are 7. So
okay,
easy 7, probably more.
Yeah.
Honestly, my blue
bigger
room
room.
probably.
I was gonna say, yeah, all right. I'm gonna bust on Chris here a little bit. Now, Chris, we're saying you didn't have room for something that gets that damn big. Was that little carpet python you had? And now look what you did.
Oh, I got 4 years, don't I?
He thought them little cages in the background were lifers.
Chris, you stuck your foot in your mouth on that one, buddy. I love you though.
This is sweet. Maybe I'll get some blues real cheap.
Now the price is going up, man.
Yeah.
Sure. Price is going up on them, man. Keeps going up.
Oh yeah.
Market's
Chris,
hot.
since we talked, I sold all mine.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah, they're all gone. All the blues.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yep. Because Chris and I were talking. He's like, you kind of posted those high. And I was like, I know I posted them high because I haven't sold them domestically in years. So I want them to go high. And if they don't, then I'll sell them to the Italian guy that I always sell them to. And because he was like, oh, man, don't forget about me. If you still have them in April when I can get them, hit me up. And I was like, I'm going to put them up high and see. And I sold the last 2.4 to one dude.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah, they were nice. They were pretty. They were really nice.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this year I had a little bit of issue with like minor kinks. Like they're not really kinks. They're almost like if you think of like a Chinese finger trap, the way that it kind of like comes in and out like that. Like some of the scales were a little bit pushed together, like on the tail. And I think that's just having such a long incubation, having like fluctuations in temperature or humidity. I think there's a lot that can go wrong on a snake that's that slim and slender and that long. And so I had a couple of little anomalies like that. But I mean, once they're 7 feet long, you're never going to be able to tell a difference, I don't think. But that is part of it is you got to be real. It's kind of like the chameleon thing. You know, they incubate so long that there's so much that can go wrong in that amount of time. And I do know I struggle with eggs going bad. And I think that's pretty common.
What are you using for incubation? Are you still on like perlite or vermiculite?
I'm going back to vermiculite.
We all switched over to water.
What's that?
For the balls, it's water.
Yeah, we just been doing water.
I was a big vermiculite guy for years. I tried perlite. I hated perlite for what we did, but
yeah, I had one of the OGs. He's a massive like hater guy in the colubrid hobby. Like anytime you have something like this is something kind of about the hobby you guys were asking about. Like mostly everybody in the colubrid hobby is like really encouraging of each other, but there's this one guy who just thinks he's smarter than everybody else, and he's like always taking digs at everybody. Like I heard him saying on a podcast that I was making these granite Leonis that were suspect or something. What was the word that he used? But it was like, dude, you're talking to like locality king snake people. If you call it suspect, you might as well call it like bunk fucking hybrid bullshit. Like don't be saying shit like that when you don't know what you're talking about. But he was the one who convinced me to mix my vermiculite with perlite because he's like, I've had all these dead in the egg because of vermiculite. Perlite's the way to go. So I started doing a 50-50 mix, and I've had more issues with kinking and stuff in these last couple of years. So I'm going back to vermiculite because I never had issues with kinked snakes before that.
What about just water? Like what kind of humidity you need?
I never heard of
honestly
from water, so yeah.
I've only done the suspended incubation method with crested geckos, I think.
Water.
And it didn't work out for me, so I've just never gone back. I've never tried it again.
We tried Orbeez last year on them scalers I was telling you. We only had one survive, so I'll never try that again. But we used sphagnum moss is what we used to do the colubrid eggs in, and we had pretty good success for what we did.
Yeah.
It wasn't no crazy numbers or anything, but I don't know.
Sphagnum moss is awesome.
Yeah,
because it's antimicrobial, it's anti all these different like antiviral.
Yeah.
That's what I incubated my first clutch of ball pythons on. Actually, was sphagnum moss, and they did great.
I've done all my corn snakes on the same trays I use over water for the ball pythons, and I've never lost any.
Oh,
never lost one.
Thanks.
Nope.
So you did
what temperature are you at?
Yeah, I did them exactly the same. I did them no different than the ball pythons.
Okay.
Same temp?
You know, no, not same temp. Cool.
Oh, okay.
No. But I mean, as far as the setup, I use the same
Yeah.
trays over water. I use the press and seal, everything exactly the same.
Oh, wow. That's surprising. Huh.
And I've done, multiple years, multiple clutches.
Wow. Interesting, because I've gone back and forth about the lack of oxygen thing. I've tried a couple colubrid clutches just totally sealed off, and they've always died.
Did you have holes in yours, though, Nate, like from the handles?
There's holes in the
right. So you did have a little bit of
it's not sealed to that extent,
right? Because when we talk about press and seal a lot of people don't talk about the holes in it or if they have holes. But yeah, I could see that with the colubrids. I would definitely not want to seal them off.
Yeah. Well, the guy I'm talking about, his method is to leave his colubrid eggs sealed for like 45 days because they go 60. 45 days, then he starts to vent them, and then it helps them to kind of like dimple in, get kind of leathery, and then they crack the eggs a little more easily that way, which I thought was interesting. I never really paid attention. I was trying to go the full distance with mine that were sealed just to see, because I'm like, if ball pythons can do it with no air, why?
I've always done 2 holes in all my bins and balls because I just believe everything in the world needs air. I know so many people do it, but I will not do it. And our success rate doing balls is probably like 97, 98%. So I always put the 2 holes in just because I believe in that. But colubrids, I'd be scared to death to seal them off too. Like,
I
don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting though, because you talk to people from different, area, like regions of the country, and they have different experiences. It's like there's no one right way. Like whatever you figure out that works for your room, your specific
region
setup. I think it's so individual. So
the water,
unfortunately,
the water, that might be. You do so many. Maybe give it a shot or something.
Yeah, like on a cheap clutch.
I switched the water for ball pythons, man. I've been 100% so far since I switched. And that's probably 35 clutches deep. It's freaking it's killer because it's 100% humidity, right? Like, it was pretty nuts.
Yeah. The other big change
that I made incubate at?
So that's where I'm going. I just changed from. I have some incubators behind me that I was using for years and years, and I would set those. I started out at 82, then I started going lower. I was going like 80, then 78, and then this year, actually the end of last year, I think I just got full, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to overflow these on top of my racks, and I talked to my mentor about it, and he's like, yeah, that's what I do. I just put them up on the racks, and he's like, whatever you do, just don't do it all at once. Like, just try a couple, make sure it works out. And so that's what I did. I just took some overflow clutches. Actually, it was probably Barron's. It was all my later stuff. Put it up on the racks where it's only like 75 at the most, probably. So they took longer, but it worked well in 2023. So last year, I didn't use my incubators at all. I just put them all up on top. And I used to watch Brian Barczyk. That's what he always did, was he just threw his colubrids up on his racks. And
wow.
Yeah, they take longer, but it worked fine. And it made me feel a lot more comfortable because there was a year because I have 3 incubators stacked up, but only the middle one has a temperature probe. And one time I got my wires crossed, and so it was heating one that didn't have the probe in it, right? The top one was heating, thinking the middle one was the one that had the power to it. And so I cooked this really cool clown clutch because I had it in there. So ever since then, I'm like, man, I really don't want to even fuck with these if I don't have to.
Yeah.
So now I just do them ambient, and that's worked, except for the issues that I've had with kinking. But I honestly think that has to do with perlite and not with anything else. Because
perlite scared the shit out of me because you never know what the hell they sprayed on or did with it. Like,
Yeah,
that's true.
I've heard a lot of nightmare stories with perlite, especially like within the last 5-6 years.
Yeah,
So,
true.
yep. I've heard a lot of horror stories with the vermiculite too, depending on where they got it from. It says it's this, it says it's that, and
I had a bad issue with vermiculite.
stillborns and all kinds of crazy shit. That's why I said I started to do the Orby thing because I had trays from Home Depot, like the light diffusers, and I would put the Orbeez will keep them up, and then I would fill the bottom half with water. So it worked perfectly for that. But then I switched to egg trays, whatever, like hatchery kind of trays. They're called something, but just started doing water, and it was perfect for the balls. It was like nothing's added, no bullshit, no chemicals, no anything. So,
yep, that's where it's at. You want to hear some crazy shit about Orbeez? So they're made out of the same stuff that water crystals are made for like crickets,
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with those?
Yep.
So I used to breed crickets when I was doing lizards, and
whatever. So,
dude, it saved me so much money. Those things go crazy. Holy shit. But the crickets would get in the water crystals and just root around and soak up all the moisture and stuff. Well, one time I had a horn lizard die on me, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, he was so healthy. So I cut him open, and he had water crystals just expanded inside of him.
Oh,
so
man.
The crickets got the dried little water crystals stuck on them, and then I fed that to the lizard, and then the lizard's moisture inside of its body made those things expand.
I'm like, that.
Dude, it's like the perfect murder, bro. Give somebody some Orbeez that are not yet wet.
I never even thought
I'm surprised the dumb YouTuber hasn't died from eating these things yet.
It would expand in them if dried up on them. You would never see it. Yeah. Holy shit.
That's why they tell you don't drop them on the floor. Your animals.
Oh, the animals definitely. You can kill them.
Facts.
Yep.
Holy crap! I never even thought
of it either, people. Man, holy shit! You'll have
you're gonna have some idiot on YouTube taking a whole chug of Orbeez.
Here I am. I thought Chris had been eating them.
Yep.
Out there, dehydrated M&Ms.
I'm not gonna put any names out there, but I was telling a guy to use the Orbeez, and he's like, "Oh, they're great." And he was like,
"Chris, stop eating the Orbeez, bro.
$20.
Stop eating the Orbeez."
I got them in a medicine bottle. $20.
Probably with fentanyl.
That looks like weed.
Oh, I can't even open up the child lock.
Fentanyl balls. Holy shit. Go ahead, Chris.
So, Joel, the Transpicos. I'm super curious. What do you have any available?
No, unfortunately. I just lost my two proven females that I've been breeding. I just lost them in brumation. For whatever reason, I have 3 other adult females that were in a much colder spot in the room. Totally fine. These guys were way up on the back shelf where it only gets 54. Both of them just dead. They were right on top of each other. So I'm super gutted about that because the axanthic blonde female laid 8 eggs last year, and they were all perfect, awesome babies. And my male was an axanthic blonde also. He was an axanthic het blonde. So yeah, really bummed about that because the year before I lost my male in brumation. So this year I was going into this season with 5 females and not an old enough male yet. I have a smaller male, an axanthic blonde, young male. He's like a 2023 maybe. So I'm not going to be able to produce any. I honestly, what I'm planning to do is go to West Texas and just hopefully catch a wild one this year and just make a bunch of hets. I've been to West Texas before and I didn't see a subhawk, but we were doing laps on Black Gap, which is by the Mexican border. And this guy that was doing laps also, we kept seeing him, so we'd ask him what he'd seen. 3 times, he's like, I just saw a subhawk, but that's it. 3 fucking times. He's like, yep, subhawk, but that's it. I'm like, God damn it. So finally by the last one, I'm like, where were you, dude? Rub my nose in the spot where this fucking subhawk was because I want to see a rat snake while I'm out here. So we went and looked, but I was never able to find one, and I didn't see any beards or anything else. So it's not like a lock or anything that you can go to West Texas and get one, but I've had my feelers out there for an adult male for a year and a half now. And I think the only one that I saw was in Europe, and I think it sold before I got a hold of it. So I have 2 big females. Yeah. I have 2 big females ready to go. They're new to me, but they were proven by the guy who had them before. And then I have a younger triple het female. She's het blonde, axanthic, and European line albino. And she's kind of on the cusp. But like I say, I don't have a male, so I'm not too worried. But dude, talk about snakes that fucking sell. Holy shit. I made those 8 and they were gone. I mean, like that. And they're so docile. Like, that's the cool thing. You know, there's somebody who has like an Instagram page that's dedicated to a subhawk. And so like they're really like revered, just kind of like the snow hognose, that there's like a social media presence about the snow hognose. So they all sell really well. It's kind of like that. So it's well deserved. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, my wife's been after one for years now.
Yeah, I wish I was in a better position on those right now. I thought I was in a great position with the 5 females and the younger male. The younger male's been kind of hit and miss with feeding this winter. I was hoping I was going to get him up to size, but I mean, he's doing well, but he'll only take live, and you know, he doesn't like winter. I think he wants to be broodmating.
Are they a species that's just hard to come across? Like, not many people working with them, or?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, there's this weird, like, culture of people that they're really popular amongst, but I think most of those are pet people. So, like, there are a lot of people who have 1 or they have 2, but they don't care to breed them, and they may never breed them. So and honestly, that's where most of mine went, was to people like that. They're just like, fuck yeah, I got one. Yeah, like, and then that's the end of it. You know, they have their cool snake, but they're not going to breed it. And so that's good and bad, right? Like, the demand is high and the supply is low. But if you lose your fucking male and 2 females in 2 years, then
fuck.
Not great.
So what do you think? You just had them too cold, or you broodmated them too cold, or?
But in reality, that's what keeps the prices up, because they're not easy, right? Like, that's
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know why, because these things are found right along gray-banded king snakes, the same habitat, the same everything. They have the same habits, as far as I know. I mean, honestly, if anything would be unable to get colder, I would think it would be gray bands, because they're up in the rock face that's like cut from the road. So they're not like down in the earth where it's warmer in the winter. Like, the subox would be down in like dirt holes, if you would ask. I mean, if I were to guess. So they would be the ones.
You got that geothermal temp.
Yeah. But then maybe that's, I guess, if the alterna are getting colder up above, that's why maybe they're more tolerant, and maybe the subox go down where it's warmer. And yeah, so it's just weird though that I've had, like, last year, those 2 females that died this year were in the same exact spot. The male died, they didn't. And then this year, those 2 females are over where it's 5 degrees warmer than these other 3. They died, the other 3 didn't. So I have no idea, but I'll tell you, we're talking about brumation and what it can do and stuff. I'm really starting to think I might not brumate my subox at all, or I'll be very careful about keeping them closest to the door where it's warmer. Because
I mean, worst case, they won't breed.
Exactly. And it's not like there's a race.
Your brain must be going a million different directions. Like you said, so many different species. And
oh my god!
Like, different things you have to do with each one of them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there's a lot to keep track of.
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to keep track of. And that's sometimes part of that's kind of the downfall sometimes, is you got so much going on, and then you see somebody do a certain trick with a certain species, and you're like, oh yeah, I knew to do that, but I've kind of forgotten because I've had my mind over on the hognose, or, so yeah, I'll definitely admit to that. There's merits to being a specialist in one thing, because that's just where your mind is at all the time. You're never going to forget the tricks, the tips, the specificity to that certain species. So yeah, there's definitely that. But it makes it damn hard to make a living too.
Yeah, definitely.
Because as one market goes down, another comes up. Like, I never would have known subox would be like one of the more popular, or even barons. Honestly, if I think I told you, Chris, if you had like 10 pairs of Barons or like 5 males, 10 females, you could live off your Barons racers as long as they produce for you. You could make you'd make, I don't know, 120K or something like that off just those animals for the next few years till the Chinese guys get theirs up to size and they start competing. You could live off Barons racers right now because they're just in such high demand.
Yeah.
And who would have known?
Yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. Like I said, it's.
I know. And then Jeff's telling
issues. There could be this. Like you have to really have your ducks in a row and like know what can happen to do that kind of stuff for sure.
It's kind of funny because people are saying all these positive things about Barons racers now. Like everybody I know who's gotten into them is like, I just love them. I've fallen in love with Barons. But when I first got them, everybody's like, I don't know. They're kind of high strung. Like they're real spastic, tweaky snakes. Like a lot of people weren't really not about them then. And now it's like this.
About it. Yeah. Somebody knew nothing about really these Barons. I know Chris got some. I know Nate's got some. But somebody has never really known too much about these Barons. Like I said, I took some stuff you said tonight that were like, oh, it sounds great. And then some stuff is like, oh, man, it could be problematic. Like, so, yeah, just soaking it all in, like the pros and the cons of it. Like, just like every species, right? Like, they all got pros and cons.
I'm just hoping they calm down as they get older.
Yep.
Do they calm down when they get bigger? No.
Keep hoping.
Really? They stay wild,
no, not really.
Chris,
they're fast. They're fast little fuckers.
So you need bigger cages, and they're going to eat your face. Yeah. So, God bless you, bro.
Well, I got them on a Wednesday, Sunday.
Should have kept the carpet.
They're on a Wednesday, Sunday schedule. No, the carpet bites me when she's out of the cage for no reason.
You only let her out once a freaking month. What do you think she's gonna do?
I think the problem was her cage was right on top of the hatchling rack at face level. So she's used to going, looking at my face and striking at my face. So when I would get her out, she would literally inch her way to where she knows she's got enough body reach to get me in the face. She kept coming at my face.
I'm taking over-unders over the next.
I had to hold her back like this because I know.
I'm gonna take over-unders next 4 years if Chris freaking holds these Barons or not. We're gonna start taking the over-unders.
No, I'll get them up the size and sell them.
As soon as them suckers get that big around, he's out. Taking over-under.
I'll get them up the size and sell them to Nate.
That's exactly what they're going to, just like your other colubrids.
Yes, please.
Yeah, if he doesn't buy them, I will.
Chris threw his milk snake all the way up.
There's a market. It was a good investment.
I didn't say I was going to pay for them. I just said you're going to give them to me.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I'll feed you Orbeez. Nobody will question anything.
Put a little white M on them, Nate. They'll never think twice.
Yep.
Pop a couple in his mouth while he's sleeping at the show. He'll never know what happened.
Yep.
Here's a piece of candy, fat ass.
Go out to eat, and Chris will be like, I don't know why. I feel so full.
All day. So bloated.
He'll be sitting back there chuckling.
Oh, fuck.
That's awesome.
See what I got to deal with, Joel?
Yeah.
So how many ball python clutches do you roughly rock a year? Like,
I was gonna count, but I think I must have been like 40 this year.
Okay.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, on top of all the other shit you're doing, hey, that's pretty.
Yeah, I thought you were around 15, 20. I didn't know you did that many.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I'm more than I should have. That's for sure. And I cut way down, dude. I did like 80 last year, or no, sorry, the year before that.
So you're like on a 12-hour day schedule, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it goes. And honestly, this year, like I say, I have a kid that helps like a half day Sunday, then a couple days after work. My kids help me. I have 4 kids. So they help to a certain, well, since I hired this high school kid, honestly, I don't use their help as much because there's a lot of like fixing I have to do. So, it's like, I want to teach them that this is like a farm type of thing. Like you guys just do your chores. You're all part of the deal here, but it gets frustrating sometimes when they're spilling shit. And I'm like, come on, it's just I just want you to empty out tubs, and I don't have to do half of the work.
Are they into it? Like, is any of them into it more than others, or like our kids? Our kids laughed at us. They were like, "I want nothing to do with this shit."
Yeah, they kind of go in phases. You know, like a little bit of interest here, a little bit of interest there, but I don't want to push it. You know.
Yeah. Nah.
Like I just think that's the wrong way to. I honestly think, like I tell my kids a lot of times, you guys should really pay more attention because there's gonna be a time that I'm not around. And you're like, holy shit, he had Ruthven's Kings. Like that's crazy. Like you guys don't realize the cool shit that you're around. Like I would lose my mind if I were you guys in the
or any of them
reverse.
Like any of them have more of the interest like you, like basically like love it, but you know.
They like herping more than they like the captive stuff.
Okay.
They're down to road crews. They're down to the flip rocks. Like when I took them out looking for ground snakes, which are they look like milk snakes kind of. They're banded and they're actually pretty common where you can find them out west. And when they were flipping their own rocks and finding their own snakes, it was pretty epic. They were like, holy, like I can't believe, like, you know, I've taken them herping for years and they flip this rock, they flip that rock, and they never find anything. So when they were actually finding stuff, they were way into it. It was really cool.
Yeah, see my luck, my kid would flip a rock and be like, hey, a rattlesnake.
I have 5 of them.
That would be my luck.
5 kids, 4 girls, not one of them took. Not one of them. Not one of them cared. I was like, God.
Lexi's all right.
Lexi don't give a shit about this. Get the hell out of here.
Well, mine all found boyfriends. They were in it, and then they got a boyfriend.
She about her makeup and hair. Like, get the hell. No way, man.
So,
my kids listen when I talk to them about the money. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Hold on. I was gonna say
they're like,
we're getting up to that. I said we're getting to that 2.5 hour point, guys. I think what we should do is put a bookmark in this and get Joel back on because I had said something to Joel about doing 2 shows. Since we kind of did colubrids tonight, we can still do colubrids next time, but we can dive into like the ball pythons and some of the other stuff too.
Yeah,
because let's face it, I mean we can have this man up here for 2 more hours.
It was awesome getting to know Joel.
Easy. So all the species he's doing, shit.
I was gonna say. So what I'm thinking, Joel, are you good for not Super Bowl weekend, but the weekend after?
Oh, thank God! Yeah, I thought you wanted to do Super Bowl Sunday, so I'm really
no. I used to compete against.
We're Philly people.
No.
ELGS, ES.
Yeah, that could not happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to get faded when Lil Wayne surprises us all and comes out with Kendrick Lamar.
Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl?
I'm not really rooting, but I really am a fan of the quarterback of KC, honestly.
Mahomo?
Okay.
Yeah, dude. I've watched him since he was in college, man. He's just really talented. He's so fucking skilled. You can't.
Yeah, I'm teasing.
He's really not.
Asshole Philadelphia fan.
Yeah.
See, Nate and I, both of us aren't
the screen right people, now.
So we just push buttons and try to get the other 2 guys aggravated with the football shit.
Yep. I don't have time for football, honestly. That's what it really boils down to. I watch MMA and I watch skateboarding, and that's as much as I can keep track of. Football is just it's
I
too
miss
much,
skateboarding.
Man.
I miss skateboarding.
Yeah.
We're gonna get along really good, Joel.
Good.
I miss skateboarding. Good. I'll break a skateboard now.
Oh fuck! You imagine you want to skate, oh boy.
Dude. I used to skate. I used to skate, bro.
It's so fun. Yeah, I see it.
300 pounds lighter.
They don't sell those to people who don't skate.
Fuck you, Christine.
You came out the woodwork with that. Was quiet all night.
Oh man, she just waited for that, man. Just sat in the fucking corner and waited for that.
It's Orbeez, Christine. It's Orbeez.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Dude, my buddy used to have a half pipe in his backyard, man. We used to skate that all the time.
It was 150 pounds ago.
Yeah, in my 4 inches.
Down to 1 now.
I can't even
went so well, and then went off the rails right at the end.
Oh wow. Christine, I'm taking my shirt off.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh man,
I love it.
Wow.
Oh God, I swear.
I'm sorry, Joel. I shouldn't have. These fucking guys, bullies, I tell you.
Yeah, you're wearing an independent shirt. I mean, come on.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I know. Independent. They're gonna need some heavier duty trucks because I got on a skateboard at Target. It was like, bent the fucking thing over. I like bent that fucking thing. I'm like, there's no way I can stand on this fucking thing. It like bent over. So yeah, stiffing up these fucking trucks.
Fucking dead. Jesus Christ.
Most fucking wiped out in Target.
Oh my God.
Some poor kid bought that and they wouldn't return it.
Yeah, right.
No returns. They're like, it's all warped and fucked up. Some guy on it.
Someone fucked the bushings up. Why is the rubber all cracked?
Why does it only go right?
Phil says, "What the hell? We just lost part 2."
God damn it.
Oh God. Damn you, Christine. Oh, my fucking stomach hurts now.
You turned it into a shit show.
Yeah, we were good right up to the freaking end here. We were good.
We were saying our goodbyes. Yeah, you know.
Sorrentino had to say something fucking stupid. So
How much he loves skateboarding?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hell
I love
hell with you for
skateboarding.
that.
Yeah, about 400 fucking pounds ago, fat ass. The fuck?
well, secretly shaming you in the group hasn't helped because you've been sitting here
Secretly.
Secretly? I didn't know anything was secretly.
Secretly shaming you.
Whatever.
Oh God. Oh,
Dude, we're getting a new skate park in our hometown here, and they just had a city council meeting about it. And I'm just picturing some overweight guy standing up to say something, and everybody just being like, "Shut the fuck up! You don't skate."
Oh shit!
Oh,
your opinion about the pole doesn't mean anything.
I know my fat ass ain't getting on no skateboard. Holy shit!
Oh man, I miss it. I used to BMX.
Yeah, man.
See, Nathan failed at his job, so maybe you should take the skateboarding as motivation.
What did I fail at? How did I get involved in this?
You're a failure, Nate.
He failed at his.
Oh! She's talking about your fat shaming, Nate, to get him to freaking lose weight when he had the hard shit.
We only pick on you because we
That's-
love you,
that's what she
and we
meant by
want
that.
you still
You gotta be
here.
more clear.
Look,
People-
I'm bringing sexy back. You
about.
You're gonna see me in my cheetah thong.
I mean, the man wore lace a couple episodes ago.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Give me something.
He ate the lace.
He ate the lace, huh? Being mean.
Joel, if you want to see Sorrentino do some crazy shit, watch some lives back, like
Please don't.
a couple episodes ago with the current style thumbnail, and then one or two from last season. There's one there where he's truffle
Now I
shuffling with tassels on or some crazy shit.
Now
Just
you're gonna make me
don't
eat.
know why.
You do want him to come back on,
I
right?
was just gonna.
Well, man, I'm going to shut the hell up. Thanks, Nate.
Yeah. What the heck?
Chris, Joel's no longer taking phone calls from you either, just so you know.
I do want to get into lace, but not that kind.
All right, so what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to put a bookmark in this. We're going to get Joel back here in 2 weeks, hopefully, and we will dive into more colubrid stuff, some of the ball python stuff that he's doing, because I think there's a whole lot more stuff. Like I said, we could go for hours yet. I have that feeling. So it's just best we'll put a bookmark in it, and we'll bring you back on, Joel, if that sounds good.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
I appreciate it.
Oh, dude, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no.
It was a mind blowing thing. I know I wanted Shelly to be up here with us, but part of me, I couldn't contain myself. I wanted to hear some Colubrid stuff. So I'm not gonna lie, I got selfish on that one.
This episode was awesome. I definitely learned a lot of different shit I had no idea even existed. Basically,
cool.
Yeah, Chris does a lot of bull snakes and pine snakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't even talk. I keep Pituophis too. Forgot about that. I've got a new morph of Great Basin gopher snake that a buddy of mine, actually my rat supplier out west, captured from his buddy's property, and it's really wicked. I'll have to show you guys that. It's on my Instagram. You guys can check it out. But
wow.
Yeah, I've had so many people being like, "Give me that snake." I'm like, well. I can't legally. I guess I could legally gift it to someone if they have a hunting license, but in my state, there's just not a lot you can really do. So I'm like, well, and it's homeboy's snake, and he's like, I'm just gifting it to you for the time being, and we're gonna breed it and see what happens. So yeah, it's kind of funny because all these Pituophis guys are just frothing over this thing. I'm like, well, it's kind of illegal for me to do anything. So
yeah,
I'm gonna keep it.
You definitely got to show that one off because Shelly's going to be frothing at the mouth next over. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, he will for sure.
But Joel, thanks again, dude. Let me put us all on blocks here quick. Thank you very much, dude, for hopping on with us tonight. Greatly appreciate you being here. All the information. I know we've all you've blown our minds, I think.
Yeah.
I do apologize for any of the shit tonight too.
Yeah, Joel, I apologize for these so-called friends, out my back with the insults, the constant abuse and harassment. I apologize for that.
Also, you and Nate need to make room for Chris's Barons racers once they get a little bit bigger. So
yeah, you can have the females. I'll take the male.
Done deal.
But everybody, I do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Don't forget, Warfels 60. Use that code for Husbandry Pro. Link for that is in the description down below. Gets you a free 60-day trial. And don't forget Carpet 15 for Charlie over there at shedtesting.com. Gets you 15% off of your shed test order. Greatly appreciate all of those guys and all the channel sponsors. Greatly appreciate all my wonderful co-hosts. If you're not using Husbandry Pro, everybody hop on the bandwagon. It's going to save you a crap load of time, keep you a lot more organized. I know it saves my ass a lot. This week's video, you guys are going to want to tune in. Hopefully I can get it filmed. I'm going to have to try to snag Dom to do some camera work because I will not be able to do it solo. But this week's video should be showing off some pretty stuff you guys might have seen if you pay attention during some of the lives and stuff. But if you don't pay attention to me showing off little teasers here and there and or some of the B-roll that I've used, there's some snakes here that nobody knows is here. So we're going to be showing that off in this week's video. So make sure you guys do tune in for that. But that's going to be it, folks. Greatly appreciate all the love and support. And we will catch you next week. We will be going live on Saturday, though, next week. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's just, I don't know if we're going to get a guest for next Saturday. It's just kind of, I don't know. We're going to see. I know Chris had some ideas as to having somebody come on. I did tell him that day was open, so we'll see.
Come on, Dylan.
I was going to say, we'll be getting Joel, though, the following weekend. As long as he's free, we'll get him the following weekend back on a Sunday so we can continue all this conversation because I know I learned a hell of a lot. So thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you next week. Let me find out where this thing is. Everybody have an awesome rest of the week and stay warm, hopefully. Stay warm. But that's it. Catch us next time. Later.